It is the loveliest village on the plains, and tonight it has an energy unlike we've seen. For a 5-game losing streak, it is a fantastic time to be in Auburn.
I walk 47 miles of barbed wire. I got a cobra snake for a necktie. A brand new house along the roadside, and it's made out of rattlesnake hide. Come on, take a little walk with me, baby, and tell me who do you love?
Jordan Hare is alive tonight. We welcome you to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. A packed house on the plains for a pair of teams that are each looking to snap lengthy losing streaks. Both A&M and Auburn have dropped their last 5. Something's got to give tonight. And the energy comes from one man and one man alone, surrounded by his entire extended family. Cadillac Williams took over as the interim head coach last week. He implored this team to never quit and to do it as a family, and that took him to overtime in a come-from-behind opportunity against Mississippi State. Years ago, when Cadillac was a player, the late, great radio man for Auburn implored him to go crazy in the Iron Bowl. Now this fan base is going crazy for him. And a roster full of players that he said are broken men that need us to help heal have come together. An introduction and a walk on the field that invokes Auburn teams of the past, notably one he played for. Let's take it to the field with Coach Hubler.
Carnell, this tradition was happening when you were a player here. Why was it important for you to bring it back?
Hard-fighting soldiers, because we locked in, we together, we're a family. We about to go play Auburn football, man. Unity, man, that's what this university represents. Serve, discipline, and believe. Let's go play ball. Let's go.
There's an energy in the building that belies this program's stance when you look at the win-loss column. But there's also a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light is Cadillac Williams. Welcome, Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers. Cole's down on the field. You can feel it in this community, what he has brought to the forefront.
That run out, did that look like a team that's lost 5 in a row, that just lost in overtime last week? No, I mean, Cadillac Williams has injected some energy, not in just this team, but we were down on the field 2 hours before the game. The student section was absolutely packed. This is what Auburn needed in this moment, whether he's the guy long-term or not. He's fixing things right now.
Oh, you can feel it, and it is fantastic if you're an Auburn fan. This energy in the building, the entire community, and the Auburn family. Now, on the other side for Texas A&M, this is a team that needs some healing. Last week, they're missing players from the flu. More starters were out due to injury. They've had guys that have been suspended over the course of the season in this 5-game losing streak. And Cole, tonight, they'll be without the best player on the team, Devon Achane.
Wait, Tom, he is the 3rd most used running back in all of the FBS. A dynamic playmaker. Devon Achane not going to be going for Texas A&M tonight. He is one of the home run hitters for this football team. He has been a constant, consistent player for Jimbo Fisher the entire season. He will be definitely missed this evening.
So they'll have a new starting running back tonight. We'll tell you about that when they get on the field. They've started 3 different quarterbacks this season for the first time since Kyler Murray was in Aggieland. The positive is Connor Wigman looked really good against Ole Miss.
Yeah, we had him 2 weeks ago. He injected some energy into this offense. I loved how they started to use tempo. The RPO, the run-pass option with him was a much bigger factor in the offensive attack. I look to see them build off of this young, talented quarterback that's going to be the future for A&M.
This building is sold out for a team that's on its 2nd 5-game losing streak in as many seasons. The type of energy you typically see around a top 10 program. are one that's on the up. But a coaching change mid-season for Auburn, and they have hit the reset button. Alex McPherson will handle the kicking duties tonight. We'll see if that becomes an issue for Auburn. Anders Carlson, their normal starter, is out for the year with a shoulder injury. It is cloudy, it is cool, and it is windy. It's also loud. Jalen Preston will not have a chance for a return kick out of bounds. Auburn had won the toss and deferred, so A&M receives, and they bring out freshman quarterback Connor Wigman.
Number 38 on the kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Wigman 28 for 44 against Ole Miss, coming out of Bridgeland High School in Cypress, Texas. He was the national quarterback of the year, and the performance against Ole Miss, most passing yards by freshmen in A&M history.
And I was so impressed how the moment was not too big for him against Ole Miss. And I don't expect, as much as this crowd is going to be a factor, that the moment will be too big for him tonight. Even after missing last week, I expect this offense to take a step forward tonight.
Le'Veon Moss is the starting running back. He's got to fill A-Chain's shoes tonight, or at least try. They do have a stable of talented but young backs. Movement early. And already reminiscent of the South Carolina game, where A&M had 8 false start penalties.
False start, 76 on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Cole, you played in here when it was loud. How does this one match up?
Yeah, the advantage, though, Tom, I didn't have to play when the students were making this kind of noise in this building. There are a lot of SEC players from a lot of opposing teams that have told me over the years, this is the most difficult environment in the league that they played in. Auburn's showing out tonight.
Le'Veon Moss only has 11 carries on the season. Here's his 12th, and the freshman out of Louisiana is able to pick up 4. Derek Hall, the senior, with the stop for Auburn.
And it's so important for Le'Veon Moss to get going really for this run game, because what Connor Wigman does best is the run-pass option. Putting it in the belly of the running back, pulling it, throwing off a linebacker that's driving to play the run. They got to get the run game going to open up the pass for this young freshman quarterback.
Wigman, a 4-star recruit, #1 quarterback in the country according to ESPN, and he's able to sling it out to Moss, who gets taken down short of the line to gain. Owen Pappo, linebacker, with a stop, and it'll bring up the first 3rd down for A&M.
Crowd's getting loud. Look at Derek Hall. Best pass rusher for Auburn.
To run it again and stop short, no gain. Jason Jones to stop.
Boy, just a great job by that Auburn front. Kind of a situation where Texas A&M could have thrown the ball or run it. Derek Hall really firm on the edge there, bottled it up, sent it back inside to the reinforcements, and a huge stop for Auburn to start this one off.
Low snap. Nick Constantino with a wobbler up the side of his foot. That'll end up 5 yards deep of the apron, and Auburn's going to have great field position, but there's a flag in the area of roughing the punter.
Running into the kicker on the defense, number 19, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, resulting in a first down.
Low snap there. Almost looked like the ball could have been tipped a little bit. Hard to tell there, but definitely some contact with the kicker. Got to protect those guys. They're soft.
They needed 3 instead, a 5-yard penalty, and A&M's opening drive continues.
Well, he sold that one good, too. Grabbed the leg a little bit. He's been watching some football.
They get the magic spray for him. And Connor Wigman's got a new lease on this drive now. Auburn brings pressure from the edge. Wigman trying to run away from it. And an immediate immediate stick on a 3-yard gain coming from Nehemiah Pritchett, on Noah Thomas.
Well, I tell you what, Connor's just got to get rid of this ball a little earlier. This is his first read right here into the flats. Give it to him now, right now. Waits, looks to that second receiver inside, goes back outside, and by that time, receiver was covered up. That's your first read. Just dump it off. Nice, easy throw. Let your guy make a play.
Little toss to Evan Stewart, the freshman wide receiver. Just makes it past midfield before a late shove and a pickup of 3. Evan Stewart, one of the most talented young receivers in college football. Freshman out of Frisco, Texas, second in the league in receiving yards. #1 receiving freshman, and he's coming off a really good game last week. Ian Moose Muhammad carried the water for A&M in a strong first half at Florida, but faltered in the second. Pressure up the middle. Wigman lobs it downfield, and an adjustment made, but incomplete. Devin Price had to come back for it. The wind will be an issue tonight, and that one hung up a little bit.
Well, we mentioned Devon A-Chain out. Le'Veon Moss is in here, true freshman. He's going to come across the block. He's going to go right past Owen Papo, who comes right down the middle. Not necessarily the guy he's supposed to look for first, but an experienced back, not a true freshman. Might slow play that a little bit more, work inside to outside, pick up that block, and give his quarterback a chance to throw a more accurate pass on the outside.
Worsham back to receive. Cosentino gets this one away clean. And a fair catch taken at the 10. 38-yard punt. Robbie Ashford, Oregon transfer, but originally from just up the road in Hoover, Alabama, was a two-sport standout in high school and only saw the field for the Ducks as a baseball player. In the last 2 games, he has come into his own, especially with the run game.
Absolutely. I think last week especially, the design quarterback runs, some of those just catch it, get a couple blockers ahead of you, use your athleticism. The run game definitely took a big step forward with Robbie Ashford last week. See how they build off it, maybe make some play action in there as well.
They want to try to grind it out tonight. They got a guy to do it in Tank Bigsby, but play action to start. Ashford's got to win this foot race. And he's able to step out of a tackle, pick up a first down, and now he's finally tripped up past the 35. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 23. And a 13-yard run to start it off.
Auburn starts under center. Play action from under center gets all the eyes from the secondary to play the run, and that's why he had some room there. Looks like he stepped out a little bit before. He'll back that one up, but I like it. Everybody in the building, we know they're going to run the ball a ton tonight. Ike Hilliard, the wide receiver coach for Auburn, longtime NFL guy as well, said we might run it 90 times, and I'd be okay with that. So that'll tell you. But I love it. Little play action on the first play. Give your quarterback a chance to get outside the pocket.
Athletic training staff tending to Malcolm Johnson Jr., the Auburn wide receiver. And we'll step away for a timeout as they look at him. Back in a moment. You know, Cadillac Williams is a great player. Here's something you know also. His attitude and energy is infectious.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do what we do, man. Let's control the game. Wow. Unbelievable.
You earned it, man. Good luck.
Man, yeah. Hey, we're going to win this game in the trenches now. We're going to win in the trenches now. Yeah, fight or quit, dog.
Well, that's what he's been like all week. Here's Tank Bigsby doing his best Cadillac, and he takes it for 14. We asked Cadillac about the job he did last week, and he said there's probably a couple in-game decisions I'd like to have back, but we got nothing to lose. We're going to coach aggressively. We're going to make in-game decisions aggressively because I believe If you tell your guys you believe that they can pick up a fourth down, they're going to react to that. They need that reassurance.
Yeah, show confidence in them, and they're going to have more confidence in themselves. We're going to talk a lot about the analytics, some of the decision-making that goes into helping him make those big-time pressure decisions, but he might not listen to it based on our conversations.
Here's Bigsby again.
When they have a chance, they're going to be aggressive, like you said.
Antonio Johnson's on the field for Texas A&M for the first time in a few weeks. Mel Kiper's got him as the #1 safety on his board. They've really missed Antonio Johnson.
Absolutely. He's a guy that can play at all 3 levels. Deep safety, he'll play nickel, they'll blitz him. He gets down in the box, and against a mobile quarterback like Robbie Ashford, having a guy like that with experience and athleticism and talent, they're going to need a lot out of 27 tonight.
Out of the I formation, Schenker in a fullback. He'll be the lead blocker. And Bigsby gets swallowed up after a gain of 1. McKinley Jackson, big fella from Lucedale, Mississippi, is able to swallow him up.
Boy, I tell you about big McKinley Jackson. I was talking to Kendall Simmons, former Auburn offensive lineman, playing in the NFL, won 2 Super Bowls before the game. He's taken over as the O-line coach. He said, what do you think about that D-line? I said, I think it's pretty solid. I said, but I bet you there's one guy there you wouldn't want to go against. And he said, who, 35? I said, you better believe it, man. That low center of gravity, big wide base. Kendall said, man, you got it. It's the exact type of guy that I hated playing against. He's a warrior.
Key third down for Auburn here. They want to throw, safety blitz right there. And a first down picked up on a gain of 11. Well, they replaced that safety, didn't they?
Yeah, watch Damani Richardson come right down, and Robbie Ashford does a great job. You want to replace the blitzer. As a quarterback, you see it. You don't want to shy away from it. You want to attack it. You know there's going to be a void right behind that blitzer, especially when it's a safety. It's a great job by Robbie Ashford.
Tyler Fromm getting involved early on. And back to the run game. And this one spits through. Short of a first down. That's Jarquez Hunter. I want to go back to Robbie Ashford for just a moment. What is difficult about learning this game at this level?
Well, I think there's a couple things. For one, this is a system. A lot of their play action passes, a lot of the run game is based from under center. From a guy that's not his forte. His forte is shotgun, see everything, quick passing game. That's what he did in high school. Some of what he did at Oregon. So operating under center, turning your back to the defense, then picking it up again. Now, those are things that take a while to develop, and he's still young in his maturation process.
On 2nd and 2, they go with the sweep. This is Hunter again, and Jarquez Hunter picks up the first down. Cole, they made it an issue to try to get Hunter more involved last week, and here he is early on tonight.
He's just a dynamic playmaker. And you talked to Will Friend about this offense. He said, listen, we have multiple home run hitters at tailback. We have to find different ways to get them the football quickly on the perimeter, as one we've seen early tonight.
He's got a pair of 60-yard runs this season, and now back to Bigsby.
And Tom, I would say not only that, but misdirection, something we're seeing early here from Auburn. We've seen a couple counter plays. You guys are seeing that jet motion coming flat across the line of scrimmage as the ball is snapped. They want to try to steal the eyes of this A&M defense. They have not played misdirection very well this entire season.
Would you say the A&M defensive line is undisciplined or just too aggressive?
A little bit of both. Undisciplined, I would say young, just inexperienced. They don't have an idea of how to play certain things in certain plays. They just want to attack. They just haven't been in a ton of games yet.
Movement on the right side. Auburn says it started across the line, but it looked like Alec Jackson, the right guard, moved.
Yeah, Walter Nolan flinched a little bit from A&M and caused Alec Jackson to do the same.
False start, 65 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
You see Walter Nolan here jump, get back, and then Jackson goes. If he would have been a little quicker,
yeah, maybe.
Might have called that on defense, but
Nolan's one of those guys that's been banged up over the last couple of weeks, and the flu ran rampant through the A&M locker room and throughout the team last week. They got a bunch of those guys back, which is good to see, but Jimbo was telling us that they had 3 guys taking IVs at halftime of the Florida game. Whoa, Ashford dropped the snap, now recovers. And he's only able to pick up 3 after all that.
Boy, and that was almost a huge play Motion Tank Bigsby out. It was going to be a quarterback draw. And that's one of those, as a quarterback, you get excited, right? You know you got a big play. You got a blocker for Damani Richardson right there. Nobody else if you hit it right away.
10th play of the drive against the blitz, straight ahead. And that's going to leave 4th down. Antonio Johnson in on the stop for A&M. Kind of no man's land right here, right? I mean, they've got a big, strong leg in McPherson.
From the 35.
But he hasn't attempted a kick yet. And they're going to go jumbo. And they'll run out the punter, Oscar Chapman.
We talked about Cadillac Williams wanting to be aggressive. Not really the best place to be aggressive here in 4th and long.
But you think back to what was the quarterback draw, the RPO. If that gets you some positive yardage.
If you're 4th and 5 or less, I think you
feel like he's going for it?
Absolutely. Because you still have the threat to run there. Here, your quarterback's been struggling consistently as a passer. 4th and long. Defense knows what you're going to do, just not the time to be aggressive. So,
Delay game on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Ashford was only 7 for 22 in 75 yards last Saturday night in Starkville. That was a bad weather game, a lot of rain all throughout. Auburn fell behind by 21 in that game, fought back to take 2 leads in the second half before Mississippi State won it in overtime. Evan Stewart back to receive. And the freshman takes it inside the 10. 32-yard punt. It'll be a long field for Texas A&M. Auburn's been alive this weekend. Maybe a post-game lemonade in store.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile, bringing 5G to hometowns across the SEC.
Well, these teams had 2 meetings prior to the SEC rivalry. First in 1911 in Dallas, and then again in Dallas. 85 Cotton Bowl on New Year's Day. And then Bo led the Tigers with 129 yards on the ground, a couple of touchdowns. Jackie Sherrill and Texas A&M, they'll beat Auburn 36-16. Key stop on 4th down to keep Bo from picking it up. Here's Amari Daniels, his first opportunity tonight with Devon Achane out. 2 programs in the same spot in terms of losing streaks. A&M last had a 6-game losing streak in 72. Auburn went winless in 1950. That's the last time the Tigers dropped 6 in a row. Somebody will match that mark tonight.
Got 2 proud programs used to winning that both trying to figure things out.
Neither team has won since September. Here's Daniels again. Gain of 3. So what's the biggest challenge for A&M's running backs tonight? Daniels and Moss so far. We may see some others, but they have very little experience behind Achane, who is on the field nonstop.
Yeah, little experience, and you still have a true freshman quarterback that I wouldn't say he's limited, but also inexperienced. So the playbook has shrunk extremely with no Achane and with a young quarterback. Sometimes that's a good thing. We may see a little bit more tempo.
Third and short.
No safeties.
And Jimbo's going to use the timeout.
So on this 3rd down snap count, fellas, Tom, you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast that we saw A&M struggle in Columbia, South Carolina a couple of weeks ago. I'm told that A&M going to stick with the clap tonight, that they feel like that the noise being generated from Connor Wigman's clap is going to be enough to overcome this noise. But backed up down here by the student section, not sure if that's your best strategy.
Yeah, that play specifically, Auburn was bringing cover 0. They're going to blitz both guys off the edge, go man coverage, no safeties. Connor Wigman trying to communicate protection there. That's why Jimbo called that timeout. Play clock running down.
And remember, Jordan, they changed it in that South Carolina game. It was one of the things you and I found very surprising, that they went silent count. Then they tried to go clap. You got to have a plan coming in and stick to it, the one that you know is going to work when it's as loud as it is in here right now.
Auburn brings pressure from the edge, and A&M able to pick it up thanks to the running of Amari Daniels. He's a sophomore out of Miami Central High School. Came in with just 4 carries to his name.
Yeah, this is just a tough run here. Not really a hole. Find some daylight, put your head down, and great job of falling forward by Amari Daniels.
Wigman, incomplete, trying to get it into the hands of Evan Stewart, who had 8 grabs for $120 against Florida last week.
Yeah, this is one of those throws that, as a true freshman, you're going to start to learn when to take a little bit off it. You got your best receiver, Evan Stewart, running across the line of scrimmage, turning his head all the way around, and that was a fastball right to the face mask from about 8 yards away.
Wigman's pretty good at hitting fastballs. He played high school baseball. Both of these quarterbacks are standouts on the diamond. Wigman originally was going to play for Jim Schlossnagle at A&M. That went incomplete. Trying to find Devin Price.
All right, there's the RPO, the run pass option. Talking to Jeff Schmedding, defensive coordinator for Auburn, he said anytime that number 2 receiver, that slot receiver's on the line of scrimmage, our antenna's got to go up and be ready for that RPO, and they were all over at that time.
On 3rd and 10, Wigman taken down eventually. Owen Papo, first man there, and Auburn second, a loss of 4.
Well, it's a really good job initially of protection by A&M, but it's just a better job of effort by Owen Papo. You're going to see him come right here. He's going to get double teamed at first. He's going to fight through it, keep fighting, keep fighting. Boy, he worked through about 3 guys there. Nowhere to go with the ball for Wigman. He steps up and right into the arms of Papo.
Constantino better snap this time. Jalen Worsham has a chance, and he takes it off 2 hops. Rolled the dice, a couple on the return after a 46-yard punt. We are still scoreless at Jordan-Hare. We say good evening to Independence. Flew around tonight, 9th career flight. And we get a chance to take a look at Fansville, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Cole, I thought the energy in town over the last 24 hours was surprising, but also rejuvenating.
I don't think there's any doubt, Tom. And you can usually tell at an Auburn game, early Friday afternoon, Friday evening, what the crowd's going to be like. It's been buzzing. The energy has been all over. An exciting afternoon, exciting evening here on the Plains.
You want to hear War Eagle? Walk around downtown Auburn with Cole. Tank Bigsby takes a direct snap. And after a little sidestep, picks up 5.
You want to hear the fight song, Follow My 5-year-old around. It's been on repeat for 40 hours.
Fam was jazzed up down there before the game, Cole.
They don't get to see Uncle Jay and Uncle Tom very much, so they were pumped.
I'm not changing diapers.
I'll babysit if I get paid.
That's right. On 2nd and 5, Ashford had plenty of time, tried to run with it. How is Robbie Ashford's vision as a young quarterback?
Well, it depends what the concept is, right? As a young quarterback, like we mentioned earlier, being under center, turning your back to the defense, not easy. In shotgun, with more of a spread formation, I think Ashford, Robbie sees things the best.
Yeah.
When it's spread out in front of him, it forces the defense to show you their hand. They can't really disguise things when you have spread sets, when you have condensed sets like this, much more difficult for a quarterback. I know it's a running situation, but to diagnose exactly what's going to happen.
3rd and 2. Look at this. It's Tank Bigsby on the sweep, and he takes a toss, and he might take it all the way. Bigsby popped out of bounds inside the 20. Edgerrin Cooper caught him after a gain of 39.
Boy, look at the block by Camden Brown. Big true freshman receiver coming from this side. Getting a piece of Shamar Turner there. Shamar gets the better of him at the end of it, but that's all you need to do. Give some daylight to Tank. I'd love to see those receivers getting on the outside, getting involved in the run game. That's how you get those explosive plays.
Cadillac almost beat him to the spot, running all the way down the sideline. Bigsby averaging 11 yards a carry. Wide open and a falling catch for a touchdown. 16-yard strike to Javarius Johnson. I think Javarius may have been surprised the ball got to him so quickly, and he was so wide open.
Yeah, Javarius was a name that Ike Hilliard, the receivers coach, said, we got to get this guy involved in chunk plays down the field. Find ways to get him involved. The creativity of that play right there, that's a result of this coaching staff having a week to actually prep. The week before, didn't have that luxury.
McPherson punches through his first point after. The light show begins.
Well, we saw a big true freshman receiver Camden Brown blocking on the previous play. Right here, Javarius Johnson's going to leak with some guys running off right here. That spot right there is usually reserved for a tight end. You hide your most athletic receiver right there attached to the line of scrimmage where it's normally a tight end. Those secondary guys kind of forget about that guy attached to the line of scrimmage. Oh, he's usually blocking. And you put number 6 right there. That's how you generate explosive plays. And already, I mentioned the creativity.
Yeah.
A week ago, Coach Harsin got fired on a Monday. This staff is trying to figure out who's calling plays. They don't have time to really get a full week of prep. This week, got to get in the lab, make some changes to this game plan, and already we're seeing more creativity in the run game. And that touchdown right there was one they definitely drew up on Sunday or Monday.
Cadillac came out for practice this week with a Go Crazy t-shirt, and that is kind of the theme of the week. Evan McGuire kicks it off. And it's easy for him to go crazy because he just has a different level of energy. Here was on the Bigsby run.
Boy, loosened up last week. Remember when we would get sprinted down the sidelines and make that timeout?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Loosened things up. He was ready for tonight.
Zach Etheridge, the safeties coach, came running up to me before the game. He goes, tell your boys the hip's okay. The hip's okay.
Well, we thought it was a hammy originally, but Zach had a lingering hip issue. We did check with the coaching staff. They said he's good to go tonight.
I love that story because Cadillac goes, man, the ref came to me and he said, hey, you could have just turned to me directly to your right. I was 5 feet from you. One of those things, a new head coach, you got to figure out where those refs are.
I mean, Moss picks up maybe 2 yards.
You know, the one thing I'm surprised about here with A&M, and I know it's still early, but almost through the first quarter here, with Wigman 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss, we saw a lot of tempo. And I think when you have a young quarterback, you start to simplify things a little bit. When you simplify things, you can use tempo. Less thinking, guys can play faster. Paid a lot of dividends in Ole Miss. Haven't really seen it yet tonight.
Wigman leaves the pocket and gets taken down after a gain of 4. Deontay Scott with the stop. So Wigman has seemed more comfortable the quicker the offense is.
Absolutely. Again, the protection checks aren't there. The adjustments aren't there. It's a play that you learn first week of fall camp. Everybody knows what they're doing. No one's thinking. They pick up this third down here. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to some tempo.
We're better than we don't think, too. 3rd and 4.
No doubt.
Wigman take off against the man coverage, and he slides for about the first down. Now, here's the thing. Quarterback is down where he starts the slide, not where he finishes. So you've got to be aware when you're trying to pick up a first down in this situation.
And it looked like a friendly spot there on that one.
Low scoring first quarter.
Auburn 7, Texas A&M.
Auburn's got an early lead on a Robbie Ashford touchdown pass, but A&M driving as we head to the second.
From the 2022 Final Four.
There's Suni Lee, all-around gold medalist and 6-time world champion and Olympic champion, and now an Auburn All-American where she is 5 perfect 10s. Auburn gymnastics 4th in the nation last year. A lot going on this campus. Baseball team made it to the College World Series. Here's a swing out to Max Wright. By the way, A&M's team went there too. Schlossnagel handed out their World Series rings last night at Bluebell Park, and Max Wright, senior out of Katy Taylor, and a key component to this A&M offense, is down on the field. Looked like he was holding his left wrist or his left arm. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Emba is being helped to the Auburn locker room
by 2 big-time players. Max Wright, especially for A&M, such a big part of the passing attack that they've had recently. They tried to go to him on that 3rd down in man coverage. And Donovan Green as well, the true freshman backup tight end, is out tonight. So
I'll tell you guys something else cool about Max Wright. The last time the A&M offense came off the field, I wanted to go over and see what Coach Adazio, the offensive line coach, was trying to adjust. Max Wright was one of the first ones over there, trying to get involved with some of the schemes, blocking game, passing game, what was going wrong, what was right, what he saw. He wanted to share that with Coach Adazio and all the offensive linemen as well. Just does a lot of the heavy lifting for this Texas A&M offense.
Well, it's an A&M team that has been besieged by injuries. Starting on the offensive line, they lost 3 starters, Foster, Ogumbi, and Moko. But here are the starters by position this year. 3 different quarterbacks have started. Now we can update the running back to the number 2. They've gone through almost 2 complete starting offensive lines, 10 different defensive backs. There's a lot of young players on the field now for A&M. Le'Veon Moss picks up just 1, and they're trying to do it without Devon A-Chain tonight.
Yeah, the silver lining to that is they have a ton of talented true freshmen on this roster and a lot of talented true freshmen that have been forced into playing.
Yeah.
You're going to develop those guys quicker, and look, sitting at 3-6, not much to look forward to except developing the talent, getting them experience, and building for next year.
Looking for Stewart deep. Wigman has him well covered, and now he'll try to throw on the run, and the former 3rd baseman leaves it just wide of Noah Thomas.
Speaking of true freshman Connor Wigman, the true freshman Noah Thomas. A 3rd down here. This is where Derek Hall for Auburn. That ain't him. He's on the other side. 39-29, you know, it looks the same from up here.
We haven't seen Moose Muhammad get involved yet.
There's Derek Hall. These moments are what he says, time to get paid.
Wigman leaves it short and maybe picked. Indeed, it's DJ James with the takeaway for Auburn. They're going to take another look at this one and see if he had control of it before the ball hit the ground. We'll check it out right after this. After review, the previous play called an incomplete pass, so A&M will punt it away again. Nick Constantino back out there. And Worsham takes it at the 5. Here's another look at the would-be pick by DJ James.
Just splits the forearms here a little bit. You see contact with the ground. About a 20, 25-yard difference there between where the interception was and where the punt is now. But Connor Wigman, true freshman, got fooled a little bit by coverage on that one. Let's see if Auburn can get something going. You know, the staff talked about chunk plays through the air. Obviously, they need to ground and pound, run the football, but you saw them hit Javarius Johnson for the touchdown. See what else they can manufacture here.
So they have designed shots to get it downfield. Jarquez Hunter is the running back. And Hunter will find some room on the edge, and he's got a first down. Robbie Ashford is a better passer downfield than he is short, and that's a bit of a surprise.
It's wild. When you look at the numbers, didn't expect to see, for one, he was one of the best in the country throwing the ball beyond 20 yards. And on the other side, well, the easier throws are the shorter ones. And he's been struggling with those. There are some mechanical issues that he is still working through. Again, he's a raw, talented quarterback. Some of those mechanical issues are the reason for a lot of those shorter inaccuracies that you see.
He's got a new center now, Jaleel Irvin, and a huge hole for Jarquez Hunter. Irvin helped open it. Brandon Council lipped off the field. The play before, it's a gain of 18.
First and 10 from the 4.
One of those north and south runs, Cole, that this staff was talking about.
This is a defensive line that plays gap adjust a lot of the times. They'll strike and shed, but they'll move a gap over to be able to do it, so they find themselves out of place often.
It's an A&M defense that had a really tough time against the run earlier this season. And here's another huge hole. It's Hunter again. Gain of 14 that time.
You have to love how they're mixing up this run game. Ike Hilliard, Will Friend. Jordan just mentioned it. Inside zone the previous play. You go right at it north and south, and then what do you come back with? Power play. Gap scheme run where you block down and pull around, keeping this defense off balance.
A&M 123rd in the nation against the run. That time they make a stop behind the line, but Auburn already has 6 runs of 10 yards or more. That effort being shared by Bigsby and Hunter.
And the tight ends right now are bulldozing. Luke Deal had a huge block 2 plays ago to spring that one. Just cut down Shamar Stewart on the edge on the next play, that last one. Tight ends are such an important piece to this run game. They're going to play at least 2, sometimes 3 on nearly every single snap.
Bigsby averaging 11 yards a carry. Hunter 10 yards a carry.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad. In a very young Texas A&M team.
Auburn, they're first.
Coming into the game, they had more than 4,500 snaps by true freshmen. Ole Miss second most in the league, just over 2,300. Youth showing tonight as Auburn looks to keep this drive moving, looking at a 2nd and 10. A lot of change on campus here. That includes a new athletic director. John Cohen is with Cole.
John, you said in your press conference earlier this week that you have 58 points in which you want to identify a new head coach here at Auburn. Can you give us just 1 or 2 at the top of the list?
Well, it's all about fit, right? And the only way you can determine fit is to ask a lot of questions, do a lot of research, and that's what a lot of those questions are about.
All right, so you're here at Auburn, you're the new athletic director. You've hired a football coach before at another school in this division. What would be different about hiring a school at Mississippi State and now hiring a head football coach here at Auburn?
Yeah, it's a different fit. Each institution requires a different group of characteristics. And of course, a big believer in Mike Leach. He's done a tremendous job there. But here at Auburn, it's a different set of requirements. But we're going to go out and we're going to find the right guy.
We'll give one more after this play. Let Tom call this.
All right, 2nd and 10 here for Auburn with their backup center. Jaleel Irvin trying to lead the way. Here's Tank Bigsby again. Cole?
You know, John, since you brought him up, I'm just personally curious if the interview process for you was more successful than mine with Mike Leach.
You know what? It's there's never a sure thing, but I tell you, this is a great institution. This institution's had great coaches in the past. It's had great teams. And we're ready to get back to that level.
I want to know how you feel about a football team that had been struggling the majority of this season. You see this crowd, you see the energy on campus this weekend.
Yeah, 87,000 in a football stadium with 3 wins, playing a 3-win team. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. It says a lot about who Auburn really is.
Thank you very much.
That's an example of Auburn being Auburn, supporting these kids, supporting this university.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Well, he hit the ball out of the park, which is fitting for a former baseball player, by turning the Auburn being Auburn theme on its head. And regaling everyone at the press conference with all the positives that Auburn has provided. I know he's also excited about the resources that they have here. The Mike Leach line of thinking is very interesting. Just your opinion. Would Mike Leach make a good head coach at Auburn?
Well, Mike Leach is a good head coach, but I think what they need right now is much more of a splash, much more of a CEO, much more of a guy that can recruit the entire country almost in a charismatic way, right? I mean, this Auburn team needs a home run hire right now. And like I said, Mike Leach is a great football coach.
No, but I asked that because the fit is a key part of it. Mike Leach would not be a fit here. He is a fit in Starkville. He was a fit in Lubbock. He was a fit
on the kicking team. That 5-yard penalty is declined. 4th down.
Auburn will back up a second time for punting. And then this opportunity that's in front of Auburn, and I find it fascinating that the energy around the program right now is because they've got a leader in place. They have potential candidates. It has a lot of people excited, and they've got a current coach in Cadillac Williams, has them really excited. Fair catch taken inside the 10. So let's review the list of potential candidates and who jumps out at you.
Well, I said splash hire, right? So Deion Sanders would sure be a splash hire. Lane Kiffin, though, with what he's doing at Ole Miss, took Alabama down to the wire today as well. But how he turned that program around, I think Lane Kiffin would be at the top of the list. But all these guys, for different reasons, would be a very, very good hire.
Matt Rule, most recently with the Panthers, his NFL contract built-in boilerplate has offset, so he wouldn't see any of that big buyout money that he thought he would get. And now Cadillac has a lot of people here, part of this Auburn family, saying, why not him?
He's making a point for it.
Wigman pressured and is able to float it for a first down to Jalen Preston, who stays on his feet with a flag flying in at the tail end.
I still just can't get over the 58 data points.
Yeah. Right. Cole, if you had to find 58 data points for the next Auburn football coach, which ones would be towards the top of your list?
Speaks English, gets dressed in the morning. I mean, if I got to get to 58, it's going to be some easy ones like that. I mean, come on. I think that shows you. And one of the first things that I heard about John Cohen when he was hired, I called some folks in Starkville that I know. They said, listen, detail oriented. The guy's going to have a checklist for every single thing that he does. He is regimented, and he is going to fine tune every decision that he makes. And I think obviously proving that right off the bat. He and I had a conversation about it off air, and he said, listen, it's just, he said, I'm going to cross every T, dot every I with every decision that I make here at Auburn.
There was a holding penalty after the first down was picked up, so it's going to be first and short now for Wick.
I'll tell you what, though, Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson would say if you stop at 58, you never get to rule number 76. No excuses, play like a champion. So maybe 58's not enough.
Crab cakes of football, baby. First down picked up by Amari Daniels. So John Cohen has had some notable hires in his time as the athletic director. Remember, he went from the dugout to administration, one fell swoop. He's Birmingham, or Tuscaloosa native actually, and then ended up playing at State. Ben Howland came in with great credentials, never really achieved what he had in previous stops. Joe Moorhead, just a couple games over 500 and some drama at the end of that one. Chris Lamonis won a national championship, the first ever in State team history. Mike Leach was an impact hire. Really shook up college football when he brought Leach in, and the answer in Oxford was Lane. And I think people are looking at Lane differently now than they were looking at him, say, even 2 years ago, or when he was the OC at Alabama. The maturity has gotten to a point where I think reliability is a word that's being used more often.
Yeah, and I think that's right. Spending more time around Lane, I think he's vastly different even this year than he was last year. And you see it in his coaching, you see it in the maturation, you see it on the product that he's achieving at Ole Miss. So that would be a home run hire, and they'll go after him.
On 2nd and 8, a flag coming in where holding would be. Evan Stewart had the catch. The Kiffin situation is fascinating because they lost today to Alabama, but he's got everything he needs in Oxford. Now this would be a step up, you would assume, from
holding
NIL.
On the offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Second holding penalty this drive for Texas A&M. But the point I'm getting to with Lane is he would have fantastic leverage and could demand whatever he wanted.
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't get it, so be it. He can stay in Oxford.
Yeah, he's proven what he can do in Oxford in the transfer portal, bringing in talent. But you're right, Auburn is greased and ready to go. Brand new facility just opened up. $13+ million in NIL. They got as much NIL money as they need. So the opportunities here, the national brand, I mean, this is an absolute destination for a coach. Even one like Lane Kiffin that's sitting with a lot of what he needs already.
Auburn brings 4, and the ball came squirting out. It falls incomplete. Colby Wooden came looping around to force it out.
There is no intentional grounding on the play. Number 4 is in the area.
And Colby Wooden coming off the left side there, working on Trey Zune, the left tackle. Great job with his hands. Ripping through, getting the pressure on Wigman, and not a place this A&M team wants to be in third and forever.
They're down in Columbus.
Which Columbus you talking about?
One in the other time zone. Wigman over the middle, caught for a first down. It's Devin Price in a huge chain mover for A&M.
That's a great read. Auburn goes to a cover 2. 13 running down the middle of the field, takes the first seam away. Wigman moves to the second seam, hits him right in that soft spot.
Colt, Jimbo had a great explanation when you asked him about the value of attacking the middle of a field.
Well, he just said what it does to the safeties, forces you to play inside. Therefore, if you want to try to hit some things on the perimeter, try to hit your out routes, try to hit your deep balls down the sideline, they're going to be more open.
He said you can't pass if you don't eventually throw it in the middle of the field. Wigman took a shot after a 9-yard carry. That'll set up 2nd and 1, and I wonder, this would be a spot where you'd take a shot with a deep ball here.
Absolutely. And you look at the impact that Wigman had right away. I think Jimbo realizes this is a guy that has confidence, not just in himself, but in the talent and the pieces around him. You saw that in Evan Stewart, their connection early on. He's not afraid to look for number 1 if he gets man-to-man coverage, which he's going to have right here.
He'll take it and pick up the first down.
Now, sometimes, we're not the ones with the play sheet in our hands. We like to think that everybody should roll the dice on 2nd and 1 or 2,
It's like spending somebody else's money.
Yeah, it's like,
really
take a
easy.
shot. You can just get it on 3rd down.
You know how many appetizers we've got at Acre last night when we knew Billy Wadsworth Palladino, our esteemed producer, was picking up the tab?
Wadsworth? Is that his middle name?
It is now. Crossing route, and they're able to get it out of the backfield. A big hit. Evan Stewart cut down by Jalen Simpson.
Well, there's that connection, and this is a one-man route. Everybody on the left side of your screen is running off. Evan Stewart coming from right to left on a drive route. That's really the only read in that progression. They're trying to pick a few guys, give Evan Stewart some breathing room, but Jalen Simpson all over that one. A great play coming across the field.
That was a beautiful tackle by Simpson. Had a pick last week against Mississippi State. Defense had 3 takeaways and 5 sacks. It was against Mike Leach's air raid. Play clock now at 1. Hits double zeros. And they'll get flagged. And this will back up A&M.
Delay of game on the offense. Number 15, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Now, play clock here in this stadium is in the wide corners. A little wider than a lot of stadiums. Sometimes it's a little more inside that outside pylon. So as a young quarterback, pre-game, you got to find where that clock is, and you just got to train yourself.
Yeah.
As soon as you get that play call, as soon as you talk to your offensive lineman right here, just glance up at it. The first thing you do, glance at it, then get to the defense. Gives yourself an idea of where you're at, how much time you have to operate.
4-man rush. Got a hand on Wigman, but that was it. And he makes a nice move at the logo to set up 3rd and about 2. That was a 10-yard scramble.
That time Auburn had Derek Hall, a loop in rushing on the inside. Wigman's done a great job of stepping up into the pocket instead of trying to escape to the outside like a lot of young quarterbacks will do. Jimbo's going to want to think about this one.
Another timeout in front of a third down. 3rd and 3 for the Aggies. Under 5 left in the first half. A developing situation for Texas A&M. You remember the Max Wright catch where the trainers came out and tended to him. First play of the second quarter, and it didn't look that bad. It has seemingly gotten worse. Wright was helped into the medical tent, and Cole, that's when things got a little weird.
Got into the medical tent, and some of the trainers, some of the doctors did not like what he was telling them, so they stabilized him out of precaution. He'll go to the Auburn Medical Center, standalone medical center that's about 3 miles away, but it is out of precaution. His mom, Sydney, is with him, and she'll accompany him in the ambulance.
And now 3rd and 3. And coming out of the timeout, whistles before the snap. From just a football standpoint,
Offside on the defense, number 18. He made contact with the receiver prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Automatic first down. A&M needed that break.
Yeah, Nehemiah Pritchett here starts that jam a little early.
Well, from a football standpoint, remember Texas A&M also without freshman tight end Donovan Green. So Blake Smith is on the field now for Texas A&M. You can see him getting some support from the teammates. Not a whole lot of snaps for Smith so far this season. Wigman deep and through the hands of Smith. Blake Smith has tremendous size, 6'4", 255. It looks like a basketball front line with these tight ends, including the next man up would be Jake Johnson, who's 6'5", 235.
Yeah, the reason that one was high right there, Derek Hall for Auburn dropped really nicely into coverage from the defensive end spot. That ball had to be high to get up and over him and just out of the reach of Blake Smith.
11th play of the drive for A&M. Amari Daniels is the tailback. Jimbo wanted a timeout. He raced to get it, and they got it just before the snap. Concern
Texas A&M.
was the play clock once again.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
And Jimbo seems concerned with Wigman. You talked about the location of the play clocks here at Auburn. A little bit wider than normal.
Yeah, little low, little wider than a lot of stadiums, which again, it's as a quarterback, that's the first thing you do every time you come out in shorts and t-shirt. Okay, where's the clocks at? Where am I going to look at it? Get associated with that, but it's not just the location, right? I mean, Connor Wigman's a young quarterback. You know, he's making his second start in his career. There's a lot going on in his head. The last thing he's thinking about sometimes is that play clock.
And he's also got to worry about a guy, Cole, like Derek Hall.
But I tell you what, I thought last week against Mississippi State may have been the best game for Derek Hall in an Auburn uniform. And a lot of times we just think about pass rush situations. How about pass coverage? You have to tackle against Mississippi State. He showed great awareness in space, made a couple of these one-on-one tackles on running backs out in space, and this is what we know he can do. Speed to power, just bulldozing an offensive tackle. That's one where Derek Hall can use that speed and flexibility. You set that up, then you're trying to get back and gain that depth, and boy, he turns that speed into your chest when you're trying to get back quickly. Nightmare for offensive tackles.
One of the 3 takeaways for Auburn's defense in Starkville last Saturday night. They were great after falling behind by 3 touchdowns. 4-man rush. Wigman shot down the sideline. Stewart, the freshman, is out of bounds.
Boy, that was an unbelievable catch. They called it out of bounds. A great job by Evan Stewart of even coming close to pulling this one down and almost getting a foot in. Let's see. Yep, that left foot half over the line there. We just mentioned Derek Hall again. A couple times we've seen it already tonight. Auburn looping Derek Hall to the inside, trying to affect the middle of that pocket for Connor Wigman. That time, Derek Hall was in the lap of Wigman. Maybe affected that throw just a little bit.
Once again, Moose Muhammad has barely been on the field for A&M tonight, if at all, and has yet to be targeted. It's a missing weapon. 5-man rush. Wigman flicks it out, and it's incomplete. Off of Jalen Preston.
Boy, once again, Derek Hall, not in his usual defensive end spot, coming from the inside right there, affecting the pocket. And really that time, protection was there. Connor Wigman just felt it. Panicked a little bit, thought he was going to have less time than he did. That ball a little bit on the back shoulder, should have been caught. But again, a great job by Jeff Schmedding to putting the pressure on this young quarterback.
J.D. Rim putting his hat right on that football.
Constantino again. Great hang time, one of the best in the country at that. Worsham takes a fair catch just outside of the 10. Cadillac's team will have the ball after this. Who's this? All right, gentlemen, thanks. Yeah, they wanted to be able to run the ball and figured this game would move along a little bit, be low scoring. A&M's offense has failed to get it done through the air. They've been playing tonight without Moose Muhammad. Play action. Ashford ran right into the trouble. Somehow got it away to Luke Neal. It's a gain of 1.
Boy, Antonio Johnson almost blew that one completely up. We mentioned A&M lucky to have him back, one of the best players in the entire country. But an even better job there by Robbie Ashford, just getting rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Getting it to his guy. Instead of trying to scramble, make a bad play worse. And just 3 pass attempts, but still perfect on the night. 3 for 3. He'll take it.
Here's Bigsby.
We're starting to see, though, even in a situation where 3 minutes left, you may be pushing the tempo a little bit more, throwing the football. A&M's going, they're not doing that. A&M's rolling both safeties, Damani Richardson, Antonio Johnson down into the box. I mean, they're not worried about the vertical passing game at all right now. And Auburn has yet to really show that that's going to be part of their game plan tonight, even though the coaching staff all week said, we got to take some shots. You're going to see safeties playing really low, rallying to the run.
DJ Durkin, defensive coordinator for A&M. First year after coming from Ole Miss. Ashford slipped trying to make a cut. And Durkin then a late shove, and that'll draw a flag, and that will be an automatic first down. Just as we're about to praise the A&M defense for coming up with a huge stop.
It's a great drop back pass on that one. Artrell Harris applying the initial pressure. Shamar Turner there. I don't know if he didn't know that Ashford was down, but it seemed pretty obvious.
The play was over. Personal foul, number 5 on the defense. Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty from that spot. Automatic first down.
Cole, would you put that in the undisciplined category, talking about the A&M defensive line?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, let's see, you're trying to get up a little bit. It's a shove, but I mean, it's pretty blatant as well. Play had been dead.
I think he was huge. I think he was frustrated.
Yes.
It felt like he was held at the beginning of that play. Still inexcusable to happen on 3rd down. Upcoming 4th down. Robbie Ashford scrambles for 6. And we got more pushing and shoving afterwards.
Well, there's more pushing and shoving during as 76 Jeremiah Wright had a man about 14 yards downfield. At least he got penalized for one of those last week, but you have to appreciate it. This Auburn offensive line didn't have a ton of fight the first quarter of the season, and this young man has come in and given him a lot of it. I know he goes a little too far at times, but you have to appreciate the fire and intensity he brings.
And they're still playing without their starting center. Brandon Council. Tank Bigsby picks up about 3. Chris Russell Jr. in on the stop.
Tom, you mentioned Brandon Council being out. Coming into this game, he had 600 snaps on the season. Jaleel Irvin filling in at center now, 102 snaps. Gives you an idea of the experience level of just what's taking place this year.
Well, Council on the sideline now, helmet in hand. Jarquez Hunter now in at running back. Hunter looking for daylight. May have found it. Got to outrun the safety. And another huge Auburn run. Damani Richardson forces him out of bounds after a 23-yard pickup.
Oh, and it's Jacoby Matthews at the top of your screen right there that's going to be responsible for contain. I mentioned all these DBs rolling down into the box with really no threat of a vertical passing game. But you still got to remember your fundamentals. Easy to get those eyes caught in the backfield. Then you lose contain. Don't want to do that against Jarquez Hunter and Tank Bigsby. They'll make you pay.
Matthews, another freshman. Ashford going deep. And only white shirts were there. They didn't see it. Varius Johnson went down. And Auburn fans thought it should have been a pass interference penalty.
Yeah, Jacoby Matthews again. Lost contain last play. This time, watch him up around the shoulder. Definitely has hands on Johnson there, and Ashford paid for that one. Coverage was there, but
LT Overton hit Ashford after he got rid of the ball. Of note, Auburn is still without TJ Finley. He is in the building tonight and on the sideline. Cadillac telling us that he's not available, but he can give help and offer to serve. Now they're swinging out to Bigsby. Bigsby with a nice open field move. 14 yards. Matthews brought him down.
Boy, Cole, you just mentioned Jeremiah Wright. Left guard, 6'5", 335. That time getting out in the open field and lead blocking for St. Bigsby.
To 1 minute, 8 seconds.
Walter Nolan is down on a knee.
Thank you.
And that'll interrupt the Auburn rhythm a little bit. Nolan has been banged up over the course of the season.
You mentioned that physicality from Jeremiah Wright, Jordan. I talked to Kendall Simmons, who's now the offensive line coach here at Auburn, about last week and the play where he had to pull him out of the game. He gets that 15-yard penalty, and I said, Kendall, I know you had to do it, but you also loved it at the same time. Just admit it. He kind of smiled, and he's like, Cube, you know I had to get him out of the game. It's a little bit too much. I said, yeah, but you loved it. He goes, okay, I loved it, but still. He said, I got to get him to control those emotions a little bit more. He said, he definitely brings something that we need. We want the attitude, but just keep it under control a little bit. And he made a good point. He said sometimes his celebrations actually draw the attention that gets him penalized. He said, just give it like one little fist bump and then get back into the huddle.
It figures Kendall would be honest with you because he knew you when you had hair.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But I tell you what, Kendall, I think one of the more underrated players in the history of Auburn football. He was an excellent offensive lineman here at Auburn.
Solid hairline back there.
Yeah, if you still had hair like that, you'd be in the booth. Ashford backpedaling, goes down the sideline and incomplete. Trying to find Bigsby. A flag on the play. Ineligible man downfield, looks like. Might be one of those new plays, and Ashford just didn't have a great feel for it.
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 58 on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
That's Keandre Jones. How many there's 7 different offensive linemen, 8 different offensive linemen by my count they've played tonight.
It's not ideal.
Wow.
You mentioned new play. That was actually off that little quarterback sweep, right? Just snap, take it, get 2 lead blockers that time. You know, A&M probably saw that 8 times last week on film. Trying to get a little play action pass off it.
Ashford directing traffic. He's got Shanker. Didn't pull the trigger. We got a chance to show Cole in his playing days alongside a guy who won 3 Super Bowls.
Obviously, Top 5 offensive linemen in the history of Auburn football. Willie Anderson, Wayne Gandy going to be there. Willie's the best no matter what. He is the GOAT. Kendall Simmons, I talked about earlier, he's going to be on there. Chris Gray played 15 years in the NFL, longest starting streak since Seattle Seahawks history. And this dude right here, Marcus McNeil. I got you as one of my top 5 Auburn offensive linemen ever. Is that cool?
I appreciate you putting me in there. You know what I'm saying? You know,
I didn't know James Harden was here tonight, guys. I'm sorry.
well, I'm doing my best impersonation. We just got past Halloween, so I'm trying to do my best job right now.
You're too short to be James Harden.
No, but I'm 6'8". You know how tall I am. I might be a little bit shorter with the neck injury, but I'm still about 6'7".
How do you feel about this Auburn offensive line you're seeing tonight?
Man, I love it, man. I love my left guard right now, big 76, represent Tim Duckworth number, but he played with attitude. Last week he got a 15-yard penalty, but that 15-yard I'll take if you playing like that. You feel me?
That's what I've been trying to say.
Man, come on.
I told
man.
Kendall you can't take him out after that,
No,
but
no.
he had to.
You got to. You got to let
Thanks,
him calm
Marcus.
down.
All right.
Oh, it's nothing like an offensive lineman reunion. Don't invite him to the buffet. Key 3rd and 15 for Auburn. Ashford's going to have a design quarterback run, and he is blasted. Antonio Johnson takes him down in the backfield. Antonio's been battling a hamstring injury. Hadn't played the last 3 games. 20th career start. He's been an impact player tonight.
And this is that little quarterback lead, right? 2 lead blockers pull a guard. Mentioned they ran this so many times last week successfully. That's the difference. Antonio Johnson, an experienced, talented player that can watch film all week, see something, diagnose it in real time, and make a play like that.
Antonio looked like another former Flyer from East St. Louis, Dana Howard, Butkus Award winner in '94, College Football Hall of Famer. And we get timeout with 1 second left on the clock. Portion of Aggies had already run back into the locker room. We'll have 1 second left. While we got a moment, let's get to Laura Rutledge and our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Wherever fun happens, Academy Sports and Outdoors is there.
So that huge stop forces a 4th and 19. What does Auburn draw up here? Last play of the half.
That's a good question. I mean, do you throw it into the end zone from here? I think you do a little quick throw or maybe a quarterback draw, just see if you can get a couple blocks, something safe.
He's pressured and now unloads. Going to make it to the end zone, and it is batted down. Actually intercepted. Taken down by Damani Richardson. Couple of big stops for Richardson late. A&M trying to find some momentum. Coming up at the half, you can watch the live performance from the Auburn University Marching Band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Let's get it to Cole.
Coach Williams, it felt like misdirection was a big part of why you had success in the run game. How much of that were you able to add this week?
Man, it was like I told you earlier in the week, we got an opportunity to get a game plan together and want to do some misdirection things. Want to get Tank and Jarquez, get them guys the ball, and actually want to get 22 to raw to get all 3 of those guys on the field at one time.
Your defense is playing lights out. Running backs don't feed as much on this crowd. How much has this environment played into your team's performance in the first half?
Oh, man, it's everything. We got the best fans in the country. And to come here in Jordan-Hare in front of the Auburn family and be able to play football, it's a privilege and honor. So, again, man, we're going to continue to lean on these fans, man, but we got to play better on offense. Like, we got to come out second half, man. We got to get a touchdown.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
They got the only touchdown on the board, and they will get the ball to start the second half. 7-0 here, low-scoring half. Get you back to the studio for pinch hitting Peter Burns. You're watching SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. The loveliest village on the plains, Auburn, Alabama. Connor Wigman getting the start tonight, but this A&M offense has not found any footing. Shut out in the first half. Meanwhile, Robbie Ashford and Auburn have the only score in this game. 7-0. Welcome back. Tom Jordan, Cole's down on the field. What jumped out at you in the first half?
I think just the A&M offense really didn't get anything going. We knew A-Chain not being out there was going to be a big factor, but not having Moose Muhammad out there on the field for a reason we don't know yet. Both tight ends banged up. I mean, they're working with a lot of young guys. Surprised they didn't get anything going, but also pleasantly surprised that the run game for Auburn really got things going inside, outside from Tank and Jarquez in that first half.
We're told Muhammad's absence is not related to an injury situation. We did see exchange between him, Jimbo Fisher, and James Coley early in this game where they seemingly were unhappy with something coming from Muhammad, but that is a big weapon to be without. We'll see if we can get some clarification. At least he has his helmet on now here in the second half, but hasn't left that heated bench in some time. Muhammad is their second leading receiver. Cadillac Williams has had the energy, and who knows, on a chilly night where offense is tough to come by, maybe energy alone is enough to win this game. Somebody will snap a 5-game losing streak tonight. Cade Davis will kick off. Jarquez Hunter to receive for Auburn. Knuckleball that will get to the back of the end zone. Let's get you down to the field in Cole Kubler.
Thomas spoke to Texas A&M head football coach Jimbo Fisher coming back out of the tunnel for the second half and asked him about his offense. He said protection for Connor Wigman's got to get better. He said, but it's not going to matter what our quarterback does if we can't find a way to run the football in the second half. And I said, Coach, is there any reason that we're not seeing Moose Muhammad here in the first half of this game? And he said, nope.
A lot of meaning in that one word. A lot of hidden meaning. Sounds like there is a reason we're not seeing him. He's one of your best players, so if he's not out there, not a great plan.
Here's Tank Bigsby. No gain on first down. Auburn still hasn't had a negative play tonight. Meanwhile, a negative first half, all in all, for Jimbo Fisher's offense.
And some of the things we saw them do so well against Ole Miss, the tempo, some of the intermediate shots, just not there tonight. And I will say, moving forward, whether A&M gets an offensive coordinator to call plays, obviously Jimbo Fisher, a head coach, also calling plays, which I think is important.
Here's a Wildcat, Bigsby for the second time tonight.
I talked to Will Friend about this potential formation tonight, and he said one thing that they were concerned about, the amount of hits that Robbie Ashford could potentially take, because obviously he's a dynamic runner. They're going to design different things around that. And I said, well, how do you take some of that load off of him? He said, we've got some Wildcat stuff. Both backs can do it. We feel very confident running it.
Will Friend and Ike Hilliard, who was a sensational player in his own right during his time playing for Steve Spurrier on a national title in '96, sharing some of the offensive duties. Blitz coming. Ashford will take off, and he's got a monster hole. And Robbie Ashford scrambles for a gain of 19 and an Auburn first down.
That's a really good job here. Look at the middle vacated. No linebacker there. Robbie Ashford gets to his first read. Not there. Does the smart thing. Tuck it. Use your athleticism.
Eighth carry for 10 yards or more tonight for the Auburn offense. Play action. Max protection. Deep ball. Flag down and pass is batted away. Now multiple flags down. Coy Moore settling underneath that one. It almost came down like a punt, and Antonio Johnson was on an island in coverage.
I'm not so sure Ashford was throwing the ball to Johnson. He had Shedrick Jackson going down the right sideline.
You meant
Pass
Moore.
interference on the defense,
Moore.
number 27. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I think he just got hung up.
Yeah, watch as he turns around. Look at where his eyes are. His eyes go to the right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that ball slipped, fluttered out of his hand, but Moore was the right guy to go to, but his eyes looked like they were outside.
Did you ever have an issue with grip on chilly nights,
Yes.
dry nights?
Yes. Ball gets a little slick. That tacky feeling when it's humid is not there anymore. Watching.
False start. 55 on the offense.
False start
5-yard
on
penalty. Still first down.
Brendan Coffey there, the right tackle. But I was down on the field watching Robbie throw earlier before the game, the wind was going really left to right, so in their direction. It's behind him now, but he was struggling kind of getting the spiral tight, throwing into the wind. And again, not sure who he was throwing to on that one, but to me, it sure looked like he was trying to get that to the outside.
After the holding penalty, Bigsby carries it for 4, and then will leave 2nd and 11.
Second and 11.
Ashford got tripped up. Fantastic move by Antonio Johnson. Antonio's from East St. Louis, Illinois, played for a power program at East St. Louis High School, and we're talking about the pride that he has being from the east side, and he said it's something you carry with you everywhere. They've had some fantastic players come out of there over the years. I mentioned Dana Howard a moment ago, Brian Cox, a longtime Miami Dolphin, Kellen Winslow, who's in the NFL Hall of Fame and the College Football Hall of Fame, and a handful of players that are dotting rosters currently throughout college football. Pressure, and he got it away to Tank Bigsby. Chris Russell the stop, gain of 6. That'll bring up 4th and 10. 37. And they're going to bring out Alex McPherson. Now McPherson in pregame warmups with the wind showed good leg strength, but he was wildly inconsistent. This will be a 54-yard attempt. You know, his brother Evan was a great kicker at Florida and now in the NFL. Cadillac told us he's got a strong leg, and that one will drift right. Indeed had the distance, but A&M will have the ball near midfield. 7-0 Auburn with the lead over Texas A&M. Long field goal goes wide, and the Aggies still searching for points on the other side. Well, last 2 games, Moose Muhammad has been one of the most productive wide receivers in the entire conference. 15 catches, 211 yards. He has not seen the field tonight. Jimbo is not committal on an answer as to why he's not on the field, but the Aggies need all the help they can get. They have yet to score. They've dealt with player suspensions all season. Owen Papo knocks those down. They had to suspend 4 kids after the South Carolina games. Then Yoki Brown was ruled unavailable for this game and the previous one. He's another wide receiver that is unannounced, but the inference is that's a suspension. That's not injury related, and we're told Muhammad's absence tonight is not injury related. 2nd and 10. Wigman, nobody there.
Boy, a little miscommunication there on the outside. Wigman expecting Evan Stewart with press coverage to keep going. But as this corner gets over the top, Evan Stewart sits it down. That's an option route. Just not on the same page of his quarterback. And with no Moose Muhammad, you got a guy like Devin Price in there with only 2 receptions on the year. That slot right there.
Dynamite draw.
There, yeah. Saw the division code up.
Wigman stays in the pocket, got bumped as he threw.
Well, again, Auburn hasn't got many clean shots on Connor Wigman tonight, but they have affected the pocket. I mean, they're pushing his offensive lineman into him. He's having to navigate the pocket, step up. You see here, protection is fine, but the guard gets pushed into the lap of Wigman and causes the inaccurate throw.
Well, if there's one thing positive for Aggies tonight, a whole lot of folks got their Aggie rings, so Brooke Carter is deep into her night, and that might make this performance a little more palatable, and others. Whoa! I did not see a fair catch requested. Regardless, nothing on the return. And Worsham got absolutely submarine. Looked like he'd been drowning his Aggie ring. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Got a golden flake bag blowing down the field.
Is that mine?
It could be. What was your halftime snack? Here's Jarquez Hunter.
4 white chocolate macadamia nut cookies and a bag of Golden Flakes and 2 miniature Snickers. That's what peak nutrition and performance looks like in the booth, Tom.
So what do you do on your
Take
cheat
notes.
day?
No. Yeah. Wouldn't you like to know? You ever seen me in South Carolina with a state fair going on outside?
Captain Corn Dog. You're going to be back there next week, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if they have any corn dogs left.
I'll find one.
Second down for Auburn, 2nd and 6. Here's Hunter. And it's a first down run. There's a flag on the play, likely coming back.
Yeah, they're going to get Brendan Coffey, the right tackle. Little tug of the jersey.
Holding, number 50 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Well, could have got Coffey. Looks like they thought it was Irvin. There's the center right there. There's Coffey. Watch Coffey as well on the hole. There's 2 holds there on that play.
Second down, 16 from 17.
Second and 16, and Ashford, nifty move. He follows it up with a stiff arm before going down. Damani Richardson the stop after a gain of 6.
Yeah, that's going to be the issue, right? When you don't have the threat of a vertical passing game. Not that that's the only answer, but Damani Richardson might as well be a linebacker tonight. I mean, he's a safety and he plays in the box a ton, but every single play he is down at the linebacker position almost before the snap. A&M really not respecting anything deep. Looking for those quarterback runs and looking to add an extra hat down there to slow down this Auburn ground game.
They've hit on 50% of their third downs, and that one would have been 6. Overthrew Jarquez Hunter. You know, the wheel route for a touchdown, Ashford didn't show a whole lot of touch. Just missed touch on this one.
Yeah. And there's an A&M defender. See who it is. It gets his hands up a little bit. I think spooks Robbie Ashford. Oh, man, that's one you just want to take a little bit off it.
Number 1.
You see he pumps it, gets his eyes back inside, and then back outside to the wheel route late. And I think that's what caused him to rush that throw a little bit, not put air on it. Otherwise, you're right. That would have been 6. Easy.
Here's Jalen Preston. He got interfered with, and no flag. Unless the Auburn player was blocked into him, should have been kick-catch interference. Oh, I don't know about that one. A&M will go a little bit further back.
SEC Saturday Night is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Electric made extraordinary.
Well, Damian Craig back at Jordan-Hare. He set an all-time single-season passing record as the Auburn quarterback with over 3,200 yards in his 10-win senior season, and he has long been linked to Jimbo Fisher, now on the A&M staff. Jimbo was his offensive coordinator here. And the play caller, to the bemusement of some who thought that he wasn't the OC. We settled that with him yesterday. And a little drag at the end. Cole, those two guys will forever be linked.
Absolutely. And Jimbo Fisher called plays here when Damian was a quarterback. Damian, one of the most productive players in Auburn history. And asked Jimbo, I said, is there a memory that sticks out with Damian when he played for you here? He said, well, obviously 97 LSU, had a 98-yard drive in overtime, be able to win that football game. But here, probably the 97 Iron Bowl. A lot of fans remember Ed Sissom fumble on a screen pass. He said, I remember exactly what Damian told me when he went back out on the field there. He said, we're going to go down, we're going to score. That one will stick with me forever.
Blitz coming and movement. Auburn jumped it. It's really amazing. We talked to Jimbo about teams pass, his recollection.
Offside on the defense, number 4, contact with the receiver prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Down to the minutia of specific individuals and their stats. This guy has incredible recall.
Oh, he was, remember that, we were talking about that LSU game. We said, yeah, we have Markeith Cooper on the put there. Rusty Williams got it in there in the end zone and scored a touchdown. We won that game. Yeah, that was it, Coach.
Pretty good Jimbo. And what did he say again when you asked him about Muhammad?
Nope.
Huh. Stewart in motion will take it on the jet sweep. There's a flag in the backfield. Looks like a legal formation against A&M. This is just too light an offense to be missing a key player like Moose Muhammad, especially on a night without A-Chain.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield on the offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
How different would this A&M offense look if it were fully loaded? Anaya Smith, Devon A-Chain, the 3 offensive line starters, perhaps Max Johnson at quarterback, if that's what you thought was their best option. Haynes King has been banged up.
Yeah, it'd be night and day. I mean, right now, Evan Stewart's the guy, and Auburn knows that. They're manning him right now. They're pressing him at the line of scrimmage. They're shading over the top when they can. Evan Stewart in the boundary right now. A&M's trying to move him around a little bit. A couple plays ago, he was in the slot to the field. You can see with press coverage right there.
Pressure on Wigman, and he flicks it out towards the tight end. Colby Wooden was on him immediately. Wow. And we're seeing the effects of that young A&M offensive line.
Colby Wooden just manhandled the right tackle right here. Excuse me, it was the pulling guard and the running back trying to get over to him. You usually want to block those guys. And getting offensive linemen and running backs on the move over to a guy like Colby Wooden is just not what you want to do with a guy that powerful, that explosive.
On 3rd and 10, Wigman with 7 consecutive incompletions. It is now 8.
Boy. I know it's 3rd and long, but when you're struggling as an offense, you got to do something other than what we used to call Aggie. This is just seam, seam, seam. Nobody's crossing, nobody's switching. Everybody's spaced out evenly. I mean, this is just
too easy to defend.
Yes, too easy to defend. And we mentioned all the pieces they're missing, and you're just saying one of those guys got to win. Go win. Right now, they're not good enough just to win. You got to give them opportunities formationally with motions, movement, tempo, anything to help this offense out. Right now, they're not doing it.
Bad punt into the wind, and Auburn will have great field position after that 34-yarder. What an amazing season for Brian Kelly. Instant impact.
Unbelievable. All those times Brian Kelly got matched up against Nick Saban in the playoffs and was blown out, and he's probably thinking, man, if I just had the athletes that he has.
Here's some trickeration, and Jarquez Hunter On the reverse, takes it all the way down to the 25. That's a 25-yard run.
Now Brian Kelly's got some athletes and doing some big things. I love the creativity that Auburn has had tonight. We've seen a lot of different misdirection plays, opportunities to get Jarquez Hunter, Tank Bigsby in space on the edge. The staff did a great job with a full week to prepare of putting in some wrinkles to get their best players more opportunities.
They will go play action here. Robbie Ashford scrambles out of bounds. Cole, what was it that you saw in film that showed you that A&M could possibly be a victim to some of the misdirection?
Well, a lot of it, like we talked about, gap replaced by the defense. So they're a defense that'll attack and strike and shed, but they'll go a gap over when they do it. So a lot of times, think about it, if you're going all to the left right away and you misdirect to the opposite direction, you're going to have a win. And the linebackers just fly to the line of scrimmage. As soon as the ball snapped, I mean, they are up on the line of scrimmage. There's too much traffic for them to redirect, so you get caught.
Ball on the ground, then a scramble for it. A&M says they got it.
Well, that was almost a really, we'll see who gets it, but a huge mistake by Robbie. Look at this. He reaches out. He's supposed to hand the ball, put it in the gut of the running back. He kind of flips it at the last minute.
Who's in the wrong in the spacing? A&M got the ball, by the way.
Yeah, so a big turnover. It's either got to be a turnaround and pitch it to him or it's a handoff. There's no in between. If you stick the ball out with one hand right here, you got to put it right in his gut. And you can see the way that Bigsby had his hands. He's expecting a handoff.
Yeah. You got to eat that one if you're the quarterback.
So even if you're the quarterback and you were wrong and it was supposed to be a pitch, you go to hand it off, just hand it off. But a big mistake by Robbie Ashford there.
McKinley Jackson with the fumble recovery. Second turnover of the night for Auburn. A&M's offense trying to find something. Connor Wigman is only 7 of 21 for 76 yards. He's misfired on his last 8 pass attempts. And now he's missed on his last 9. He had a great game against Ole Miss, threw for 338 yards. And the Aggies offense tonight averaging only 22 points a game. That's not a great number, but better than what they performed tonight. And about in line with their third down numbers on the year.
That's kind of been the story of really the last couple years with this offense.
Wigman pressured again. And another one incomplete. So
as teams and programs seem to innovate, right? We've seen Alabama do it with multiple offensive coordinators, completely changing their scheme and their style of offense. We've seen head coaching hires like Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach go towards these air attack and unique offensive systems, and A&M has pretty much stayed the same, and it's shown. Everybody's caught up to it.
They converted their first 3 third downs. Pardon me, Wigman started 3 for 3. He's just 4 for his last 20. And another one incomplete. That'll bring on the punt team. Misfiring on the 3rd and 10. So what is the answer? We ask this question every time we do an A&M game, and Aggies are asking themselves the same question. How does this offense evolve, or is the answer just running this right back out, doing the same thing next year?
Well, I think if it were going to evolve, it would have already. It's not like the struggles are a brand new thing. It's been like that for the last 2 years, where this offense just isn't what it should be, isn't representative of the talent around him. It's hard enough to be a head coach in the SEC. Be a head coach and a play caller is really tough. When you're struggling and you got the resources that A&M has, I would go hire a home run offensive coordinator to come in and take some pressure and responsibility out Jimbo Fisher. Look, the system's not completely broken at all, but it needs innovation.
Yep.
It needs a breath of fresh air. It needs to change some things because the athletes are there and the system and the offensive production isn't matching it.
Okay, so the money is there.
Yes.
To hire a high-price offensive coordinator, maybe someone who wasn't a head coach who's now out of
Absolutely.
work, looking for redemption. The talent is there, as you just mentioned. If you have the freedom and then the ownership of the offense, you could come in as an OC, make instant impact, big money, and then trampoline your way to another great job.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a destination for a lot of reasons. For that as well, right? The immediate impact you can make, the visibility, but also Jimbo's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, he's tied to A&M for the long foreseeable future, like it or not. And so it's a stable position to come into with an opportunity to low-hanging fruit, make this offense better right away, because it hasn't been productive. And again, to keep harping on it, they get all the talent they want. There's talent out on the field right now, but the system is not putting them in the best situation to be successful.
And some talent on the bench right now.
Yes, yeah.
2nd and 10. So there are names that I think if they had offensive autonomy would love to grab that paycheck and take credit for an offensive turnaround. Cole, what do you think is next for A&M?
Well, I think you absolutely are going to have to bring somebody in who can help you innovate. Like Jordan said, bring it into the 21st century, bring you some creativity, some innovation that's a little bit different than what you've seen. The athletes are obviously there. I think there are portions of what Jimbo does that can still work. It's just you need to marry them up with different things that can make you more difficult to defend on a week-in, week-out basis.
They're down 8 for Auburn. You know, Oklahoma State was stuck in the doldrums years ago. They brought in Dana Holgerson. He clashed, but it was 1 year to revamp, reload, and then they played for Big 12 title the next year. Cole, give me a name. Who's somebody that you think could come in, be willing and able?
I'm going to go a little outside the box for you, because one thing that caught my attention, Tom, there in your discussion with Jordan there, was big money. And I think when you start thinking about these names, you think other offensive coordinators. Here's a trend that I think you'll start seeing in big-time college football in the near future. Group of 5 head coaches that leave to become coordinators in the Power 5. You start throwing around $1.5, $1.8, $2.2 million for a coordinator, they're not going to get that in the MAC. They're not going to be getting that as a head coach in the Sun Belt. So don't be surprised if a Mountain West head coach one day says, you know what, I'll go be the coordinator for 1.8 or 2.2 at a Power 5 school because I have more resources, more players, and I'll be getting more money with less responsibility.
That one went off of Stewart's hands. He didn't get after it, and Auburn found it. They'll rule that down at the 4-yard line. The question is possession. Evan Stewart had changed numbers because they have 2 number 1s in the punt return team, and Auburn stating its case.
Also, the key here is, did Evan Stewart touch the ball?
Was not touched by the receiving team. First down, Texas A&M.
Yeah, it's really close. He reaches for it, then at the last minute kind of doesn't extend all the way, and I think that's the right call. I don't think Evan Stewart ends up actually touching this ball.
84 for Texas A&M is now wearing number 1.
Really close, almost a big mistake.
As it stands, a 58-yard punt, and Texas A&M backed up. Wigman from his end zone. And Amari Daniels fails to make it back to the line of scrimmage. So we're throwing around some names, possibilities. You look at what Liam Cohen did for Kentucky last year, now back in the NFL with the Rams. But that is a massive paycheck if you get autonomy to come to Aguilar.
Absolutely. I think in a metaphorical way, A&M needs to find their Liam Cohen, right? Kentucky was stuck in the mud forever, brought him in, pro-style system. But I would say his name directly, I think he would be a great fit at A&M. Pro-style system, loves tight ends, runs the football. Would marry up with what Jimbo has a background in and immediately make an impact. A guy like that, I think, would be a big-time hire and a smart move.
The crowd has had a direct impact on this game tonight. 3rd and 11. A lot of lemonade.
Keep an eye on Derek Hall right there. A&M right now is a tight end to his side. Let's see if they try to double, if they leave him one-on-one. Connor Wigman better get this ball out quick if it's a pass play.
Wigman in a slump. He's missed on his last 12. And just got it out, but drilled in the end zone by Marcus Harris.
Boy, Marcus Harris, you're right, finish it off. They do double team Derek Hall on the outside. And really this initial pressure here causes Connor Wigman to step up. And Harris cleans it up, fighting through a double team. And Wigman really lucky to get that one out of his hands. But A&M not out of the woods yet.
A&M second half, 4 possessions, 4 3-and-outs, net -1 yard. Whistle to stop it. There we go. Good flop, too.
On the kicking team.
If you're Auburn, do you come after it now?
I think you do. What did Cadillac Williams preach all week every time we talk to him? Aggressiveness, right?
Not only that, but Constantino's punting into the wind. He's not going to get this thing to midfield anyway. Would you rather have a return or a chance to pick up a quick 6?
Well, yeah, if you can hold everybody up here, a return would be huge.
Constantino step inside the end zone. Short. And an Auburn check. And the Tigers will have a short field after a 25-yard punt into the elements.
That's such a great opportunity here for Auburn. Huge field position. They have moved the football tonight, but just 7 points to show for it here with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Already in field goal range, but you got to feel like this is a blood in the water moment that they want to punch this in and put it out of reach, possibly going into fourth quarter.
Lots of misdirection. Ashford, the quarterback keeper, loses yardage. He was escorted out by LT Overton. Goes second and long. Trying to run it with Jarquez Hunter. Good stop for no gain. Monty Richardson comes up for A&M. Wow.
Slow going for Auburn. Again, I think it's, you give a good defensive coordinator like DJ Durkin an idea that you're not going to stretch the field vertically. He's going to start to find ways to take the run game out of it, at least make it much more difficult. A lot of 8-man, 7-man boxes that Auburn's trying to fight through.
A&M had an elite defense last year under Mike Elko, now at Duke. A screen, and they get it out to Hunter. And brought down just before he got the first down by Richardson. 4th and maybe 1. Offense will stay on the field.
Boy, really a touchdown-saving tackle there by Damani Richardson. A well-called and well-set-up screenplay as A&M brought pressure.
A couple of items going into this call by Cadillac. They're without their normal starting kicker, Anders Carlson, and now they will bring out McPherson, who missed from 50-plus. And you could tell Robbie Ashford wanted to go for it. A 2-score lead against A&M's offense tonight feels like a 30-point lead.
Yeah, and we had this exact conversation with Carnell earlier this week about a play last week going forward inside the 4.
And McPherson splits the uprights.
That's the right call there. Make it a 2-score game when A&M hasn't been able to do much on offense all night.
Time for our Hometown Connection, brought to you by T-Mobile. Mayo Sol is a passer in Atlanta. He was an Auburn linebacker and a teammate of Cadillac Williams in the early 2000s. ran into trouble due to drug trafficking, was sentenced to 50 months in prison in 2008, got out, turned his life around, now a pastor at Live Atlanta Church. And it was the first call that Cadillac made when he learned he was going to be the interim head coach.
It is so crazy to hear Cadillac kind of reverse course on that story that he told us, saying that last week may have been his wife, may have been his mom, but he said, you know what, I got to be honest with you, Mayo was the first call that I had, and their friendship, their relationship goes back to their playing days here at Auburn, but Mayo said it goes deeper than that. He was one of the very few guys that stuck by me when I got in trouble. He got caught selling drugs and had to go serve time in prison, and he said it didn't stop right when I went away. Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell, Carlos Rogers, Carlos Dansby, those guys stayed in touch with me. They helped me financially, helped me emotionally, and now that Mayo's turned his life around, he has become that rock for Carnell Williams. Mayo told me Carnell's been calling him 2 or 3 times a day, just how do I handle this situation? How do I talk to this player about this? And Carnell told us that not sure he'd be able to do this without him. Mayo, just a very lively young man, a fun personality. He was here as a freshman my senior year, and everybody on the team just loved his energy that he brought each and every day.
Meanwhile, right after that field goal went through, Jimbo was on the field. He thought that Auburn had asked for a timeout. Officials let the play stand. They got to be chilly, huh?
That depends how many adult beverages they're down at this point. That's right. He might be feeling great.
Feel it later. Here was the camaraderie pregame between Mayo and Carnell. Mayo said, I'll do everything for you. You need me to take the picture? I'll even take the picture.
He's got the same suit as you, huh?
yeah. Fair. Carnell said that the dead sprint he went on to get that timeout called last Saturday night against Mississippi State. We had to sprint about 30 yards, was not part of his normal cardio routine, although it doesn't look like he skips any days. Connor Wickman is 0 for 10 this half, and he's missed on his last 13 pass attempts. And Wickman gets taken down after picking up 2. A Tom Amansky video, this is not. There is no how-to play offense on either side tonight.
No, but again, I keep watching this A&M offense, watching the formations they're aligning in. They're just going 2 by 2. Like no stacks, no bunches, no movement. They're just hoping somebody's going to win a one-on-one matchup, and right now they're not. At some
completion
point,
came with a price tag. Cam Riley absolutely blew him up. It's a loss of 4 on the catch by Amari Daniels.
Yeah, the coverage has been great for Auburn, but A&M's making it easy on them.
There is a party on the Plains tonight. Auburn with a 10-0 lead. If you look at the emotion in the stands and on the field, you would think it's 100-0. Back for the 4th after this. IPB thanks. A&M's offense is decidedly not rolling. Wickman lost the football. And he caught a happy hop and it bounced right back to him. It's the only thing that's gone right. Still a loss of 14, 3rd and forever coming up.
Yeah, Wickman trying to pull this one back down. Coverage was really good on the outside. Starts his throw. You mentioned earlier a cold night, really tough to hold on to that ball.
And scratch that 4th down coming up. Only the 2nd time A&M's been held scoreless through 3 quarters since joining the SEC. The Alabama loss in 2014, the only other time. Even Iowa's offense scored 17 points today.
That's saying something.
I mean, they want to run the Iowa OC out of town on a rail. 55-yard punt, third quarter, abysmal offensive production for Texas A&M.
And again, it's almost so frustrating because you watched 2 weeks ago with
looked
Connor
like they
Wigman.
turned the corner, right?
It looked like and they were doing things different. The formations, the tempo. We've seen like one play of tempo tonight.
You know, it's really interesting. Jimbo's offense has looked really good against Nick Saban in Alabama. And that doesn't make any sense, right? From the scope that Alabama's one of the elite teams in college football. So there are those who are hypercritical of Jimbo who say, well, you must prepare more for Alabama. That game must mean more to you. And his counter is, I know everything that Nick wants to do defensively. I've coached with that guy forever. So why does the stuff that you do against Alabama not work against Auburn? And I understand that there's
but
different defense.
It's a great question because it should. I mean, nothing they do against Alabama. I've documented it extensively the last 2 years. Against Alabama, they run more motions. They run more formation variations. By sheer numbers, it is staggering the amount of movement they have pre-snap in an Alabama game versus everything else. But the thing is, that's not exclusive to what Alabama does. Motion works against everything because at its very worst, it gives the quarterback information on what coverage is going to be. Because if it's man, someone's got to move with the guy that's moving.
Yep.
If it's zone, they don't. And at the very best, it sets up your players to attack leverage, to attack space, to attack with numbers. And again, early on, I think A&M in their first 15 plays, sometimes they have great plans. And then as you start to look at that play call sheet and the quarters go on, it just gets more vanilla and more vanilla the more I watch this team on tape.
A&M with a huge takeaway. McKinley Jackson tipped it, and Edgerrin Cooper has the pick. And now the Aggies finally have something to celebrate.
Wow, such a heads-up play by McKinley Jackson. He's on a stunt here. You're going to see him working to the left, realizing that ball is coming out quick and getting his hands up. It's a great job. As a defensive lineman, you're evaluating, do I have time to get to the quarterback? When you see the quarterback stop his drop, if you're not a few yards away from him, you need to get your hands up. So Jackson does a great job of seeing Robbie Ashford stop his drop, start his throwing motion. He goes, I'm not going to keep running at him. Let's see if I can knock this one down. And a huge play. I mean, we were pretty much just writing the obituary for Texas A&M. They get points here, they're right back in it.
Trying to do it without Devon Achane. Amari Daniels the carry. No word pregame on the injury to Devon Achane, except he came out in a boot, told the foot was injured, but we're not sure if he participated in practice this week. A&M with its best field position of the night.
But again, just a little fun exercise. We're seeing a lot of the same stuff out of this offense. There we go. Okay. There's a little movement.
Looking for Blake Smith in the flat, and he gets popped immediately.
By the time you mentioned guys being beat up, nicked up, injured, number 5 defensive tackle Jeffrey Imba for the Auburn Tigers, lower extremity injury. He is out for the rest of this game.
He was helped to the locker room in the first half. A&M lost its tight end, Max Wright. Already without another tight end, Donovan Green. 3rd down, 6. Wigman pressured with a 4-man rush, finds Stewart over the middle, and that will bring up 4th and a couple. Early 4th quarter. Looks like about 1.5 yards. And they'll bring on Randy Bond, and Stewart is now being helped towards the sideline. Moose Muhammad has not played tonight. He's their second leading receiver. Stewart is their leading receiver. Here's a 48-yard attempt for Bond. As long as 51. That came against South Carolina. He is kicking with the wind at his back, but also will push this ball to his left. And he absolutely drills it. A&M's offense finds the scoreboard with 10:48 to go in the fourth quarter. And a sophomore out of Plano West puts a 3 on the board. It's a touchdown game in the fourth quarter. Here, Jordan Hare. Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. Now, despite the struggles for A&M's offense, they're within a touchdown here in the fourth quarter. -2 yards in the third quarter. First time having negative yardage in a quarter since 2017 at LSU. Even Independence couldn't look. Here's a look at what Robbie Ashford has been dealing with tonight. Second half struggles.
DJ Durkin in this defense for A&M really adjusted to slow the run game down. And there's been mistakes by Robbie Ashford. When there's been opportunities through the air, they haven't executed. A&M's forced some turnovers. Robbie's made a few mistakes in this ground game. Hit a little bit of a brick wall in the third quarter there. Credit to A&M for changing some things up and saying, hey, you're going to have to throw it at some point. Otherwise, we're just going to keep loading this box.
Both offenses have made it look hard so far tonight. Here's Bigsby. And that's a big run, 15 yards.
Oh, Tom, be a little more excited. That might be the biggest play we've seen in about an hour and a half.
I could get excited if you would have shown up with a skillet full of cornbread from Acre, because David Bancroft puts it in there, drizzles with honey, and then you have to flip it.
I'm so jealous.
Midway, it kind of turns into like a souffle almost.
Yeah, you always order 2 of those.
Sesame seeds, though, Tom.
Yeah, then these are key seeds, not just regular sesame seeds. You sprinkle those on top. Bigsby has to stretch, and he's taken down for a loss of 1.
David did say for us to come up with a menu, Jordan, for next time we're back.
Oh.
Yeah. My idea for chicken fried guacamole did not go over.
That'd be tough. I think we could work something with biscuits and gravy.
How many ways can you do bacon for Cole?
All of them?
Can you? Yeah. Bacon and Brussels, 2 things that make Cole very happy.
That's right. Oh, couldn't be happier if he was walking around with a bag of Conecuh sausage. A couple of yards on the left side for Bigsby. Chris Russell the stop.
Stop by number 24, Chris Russell.
Third down.
We're going to see here just how much Will Friend is trusting his quarterback right now. I think last 3rd and long this situation, little screen play they dialed up. Jarquez Hunter offset to the left here.
Ashford takes off. And a little pushing for Damani Richardson after the play. And they're going to spot that just short.
Well, there was your answer. A little quarterback draw. Using Robbie Ashford's legs really been one of the best things Auburn has done.
All right, so they're going to. There's the barking afterwards, but this is really interesting. Ball about, arguably at midfield, and 4th and less than a yard coming up. Cadillac talked about wanting to be aggressive and looking in your guy's eyes and telling him you believe in him. But A&M just scored for the first time tonight. If you don't pick it up, you give them a short field. Is it automatic that you punt here, or do you seal this thing by going for it?
Well, I think the book would tell you, analytics.
You can see Brent Betzel walking with Carnell Williams right now.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, Jordan, with that book, kind of going back and forth.
Yeah, it would tell you to punt right here. The analytics are going forward on 4th, up 7. Really don't kick in until you get rid of it.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
They did get a good spot. Once you get that conversation.
Yeah, once you cross the 50, that's when it kind of kicks into some of those 4th downs that you would go for it. But they don't need to now. That's a huge first down pickup, as it looked like he was short a couple times. Well, he kept fighting there. Ooh,
that's way short.
Yeah, that is short, and even where the ref spotted it there. Huh.
It is an advantageous spot for Auburn.
I mean, that was short. That was a half a yard at least short.
Indeed. Oh. And the ball comes flying out, and A&M's got it. Ball don't lie, they say in the playground, and Texas A&M comes up with it. Shamar Stewart.
Boy, and it was Antonio Johnson. We've said his name a bunch tonight, back from a hamstring injury. Gets his hand in there as Jarquez Hunter's going down.
It is the 4th Auburn turnover tonight. Antonio Johnson making an impact on this game. The defense has done its job. Johnson pokes it loose. Recover by Texas A&M. And the Aggies will have a short field, down 7.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile, bringing 5G to hometowns across the SEC.
While we were at break, the officials informed us that an Auburn player touched the ball when it was out of bounds before it was recovered by A&M. Therefore, it's a dead ball. No fumble recovered by A&M. Ball stays with Auburn. The ball comes out. There's no question about that. It is a fumble. But with the Auburn player being out of bounds right there, that means the ball is out of bounds, and it happened before A&M recovered it. Shedrick Jackson essentially recovered it by being out of bounds.
Wow. At most, like, his right hand is out of bounds. His body is in. It's hard to see right there. As you can see, his body's laying down in green, but I think his right hand touches the white and his left hand touches the ball.
And the key here, they're going to review it even further after looking at it while we're in commercial break. He doesn't have to have possession.
No.
He simply needs to have contact with it while he's out of bounds.
Let's see. Watch his right hand. Oh, I don't know.
The left hand never came off the ball.
Right, and the right hand eventually gets to that white out of bounds area. Oh, what a huge break for Auburn. Obviously, the refs are looking at it. But just to echo Tom, he doesn't have to have complete control of that. Touching it and being out of bounds there would cause that to be a dead ball, and then no matter what happens after that, even though A&M gets it, that ball is dead. Wow.
If indeed it stays with Auburn, think about the last 2 plays for Texas A&M. The bad spot on the 3rd down run. Then you think you get the ball back on the very next play, and you are a fingernail away from a fumble recovery.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
Auburn retains possession. Antonio Johnson thought he had a forced fumble. Instead, they got to get up again to try and stop this Auburn offense. 2nd and 11.
I think Auburn's got to get back to going north and south. Last explosive run by Tank was a north and south. A lot of good misdirection and perimeter runs tonight, but A&M is adjusted. There we go.
Bottled up.
A&M's made some great adjustments in the second half as they think the ball is out again. Ball don't lie, Tom.
I guess not.
I mean, what is happening?
It may fib every once in a while. LT Overton recovered it.
See if we can see. Tank's got both hands on the ball there, and then, oh yeah.
Now,
Tyreek Chappelle punched that one out, which looks like, see if that knee's down. No.
Auburn's going to hurry to the ball and try to get a snap off. A&M should use a timeout. They don't. Auburn gets a play off, and they will keep the ball again. It's a gain of 6. Antonio Johnson wants a flag. This thing has gone off the rails every which way.
Wow. That ball was clearly out. And that's not necessarily on Jimbo as much as it is his staff upstairs in the booth are the ones that can see that, that can talk about it, that can.
I could add one counter. The only reason it wouldn't have been a fumble is if they ruled his forward progress had been stopped.
Right.
Even though, so you don't have to have a body part down in that regard.
I didn't hear the whistle. At least what I thought before.
So Auburn hurried to play. They failed to pick up the first down, but at least they didn't turn the ball over at the 45, and they'll get a chance to punt. And that one will break the plane. They're ruling it down at the 1, inside the 1, but it broke the plane. It's got to be a touchback. And it is indeed. I think everybody's under some sort of weird pressure tonight. Ball breaks the plane easily. That's the rule in college. It's a touchback. A&M will have the ball. SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile, and this thing is absolutely goofy tonight. 6:36 remaining in regulation. The entire game's been crazy. Connor Wigman in A&M's offense, -7 yards in the second half, yet they're within striking distance. Can they find a couple of plays? On the ground with Amari Daniels. Daniels sneaks through to pick up 5. Le'Veon Moss got carries early in this game. Witness protection since. Moose Muhammad has not been on the field tonight, although we saw him getting some stern words off camera from Jimbo Fisher in the first quarter. Wigman to the seam, and what a catch! It's Devin Price. That might be the big play they needed. It goes for 16.
And I was just about to say, with no Evan Stewart either, who left the field banged up, someone's going to have to step up. Devin Price has had a few opportunities tonight, and that is a big-time catch.
Wind at Wigman's back now. Pressure picked up and a drop by Jalen Preston. How does a quarterback adjust with this wind behind him? We all know it's tough to throw into the wind. What about throwing with it?
Yeah, it doesn't really come into play unless you're throwing a deep ball. If you are throwing a deep ball, you got to be careful because the wind at your back will push that ball and it won't turn over. It'll float a little bit more from right to left than you're used to, but everything else, love having the wind at the back.
Nehemiah Pritchett is grasping his left leg. Word from sensational sports information director Alan Canna. Max Wright, the A&M tight end who was taken off on a stretcher and taken to a local hospital, is back at the stadium. So that is great news.
And as much as we've been critical of this offense and what they're going to do moving forward, just look at tonight. I mean, no Devon Achane, your best player. No Moose Muhammad, who's been the best player on this team the last couple games, best receiver by sure last couple games. Evan Stewart went out with an injury. Max Wright out with an injury. Donovan Green didn't play tonight. Your backup tight end. You're down 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. You're starting running back. I mean, those are your best players. And you have a true freshman quarterback making his second career start. So it's ugly right now, but there's good reason that it is. You can be critical of a lot and what this offense looks like moving forward. We can also understand that they are a lot of guys out there running plays that are not used to being in moments like this or in positions like this.
Evan Stewart did not look like a guy who was anxious to get back in the game. No, based on those shots. Or able to be more accurate. 2nd and 10. Good get off at the top of the screen. Wigman stripped. Ball on the ground. Colby Wooden forced it. He came out of the blocks like a sprinter, and Auburn with the takeaway. Joseph Morris, the fumble recovery. Jimbo's thinking it's got to be offsides. How do you get off that quickly?
An incredible jump, like you mentioned, coming off the edge here. Watch how much of a jump he gets on Trey Zoon, the left tackle. Trey is still in his stance, and Wooden's almost in his second step at that point. And really nowhere to go with the ball for Connor Wigman.
And then Wooden just dropped the hatchet on him. Look at the energy from Cadillac.
Boy, again, just another example from A&M. Nobody open, pressure on the quarterback.
Auburn wanting to pound it now. And the clock will roll. Tank Bigsby picks up a single yard. McKinley Jackson the stop and then a slap.
Check out this play again. You're in a 2-by-2 formation and everybody's just running straight. Where is Connor Wigman supposed to go with the football? He's got pressure on him right now. And there's a great squiggle. I was trying to make a circle. He's got pressure on him and no one's even looking for the ball.
Yeah.
You're in a 2-by-2 formation. Everyone's just running straight like that.
You are exasperated.
I am. That's why I got hyped up, but it hit the wrong button down here. It's like, what? Like, I'm putting my shoes in a true freshman quarterback's shoes, and I'm like, wait, what's he supposed to do?
Putting shoes in
I don't know what I'm doing.
Here's Bigsby. And he's got a first down run. That's how you use shoes. You don't put shoes in shoes. You pick them up and you put them down.
Bad offense makes me crazy. I just, this is good offense. I mean, give the ball to Tank Bigsby. Something good's going to happen. Again, North and South has been where they found a lot of success against this really good, athletic defensive front for A&M. But like we mentioned, at times a little out of position, especially when attacked north to south. And Auburn starting to get that momentum going again. Boy, I need a second, man. Offense and whatever happened that 2 drives ago, all those.
Cole, put on your hair, come to the booth.
What is going on, man? I'm losing it.
I'll go full Urlacher.
I think everybody on their couch right now is losing it too. What is happening?
Bigsby picks up 3. Auburn with a pair of running backs over 100 yards. Fitting with Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown both on the sideline. You were in the green room with Cadillac on his draft day.
Yeah, you know, looking back, I told him that Ronnie Brown was there too. I think Cadillac might have been at home on the couch.
Oh, he wasn't there.
Right, I remember saying that to him, and I think Ronnie was there. I think I remember seeing Cadillac on the TV. I was in that green room, though, watching that draft.
The places we go.
Remember him getting his name called at number 5 to Tampa.
On 2nd and 7, this is Jarquez Hunter.
He mentioned that too. One of the things we asked him with the week to kind of add some new stuff, what'd you do different? He said a lot more walkthroughs. Because as a player, I remember trying to pick up Gruden's system, having a hard time with it.
Texas A&M.
Walkthroughs really helped him out. So something they put some emphasis on this week, and now
your broadcasting could have used a walkthrough in that last series.
They had a walkthrough with this telly and a drink.
Welcome back to Auburn. Toomer's Corner is the site. Be a little chilly for that lemonade tonight. Hey, thanks to Wheels Up, helping make travel easier. Jordan was hanging out with Lane Kiffin this morning in Oxford and now in Auburn this evening. He made record time today.
Yeah, it was a quick flight. Thought it was going to be warmer. Landed, saw the sun shining, and still cold.
3rd and 2. They bring Moore in motion. And a quick hit in the backfield to take down Bigsby. Antonio Johnson has been all over the place tonight. There was some shoving in the end zone afterwards by Luke Neal. Mentioned Antonio Johnson played
This will be a 30-second timeout.
in East St. Louis. That is a rough and tumble town, to say the least. As a matter of fact, it impacted his recruiting. At East St. Louis High School, they don't play on Friday nights. It's simply not safe enough. So they play Saturday afternoon football, which means, as he was telling us, he was really limited in the official visits he could take. Now, Missouri recruited him a little bit, but once Texas A&M showed interest, it was a no-brainer. And he's a perfect fit and a guy that they've really missed up until this game, missed the previous 3.
Yeah, and a guy that, to a lot of people and evaluators, has a first-round grade on him, got an opportunity to make some money at the next level, and he has made an impact tonight all over the field. They have been happy to have him back and healthy.
26-yard attempt. And McPherson connects again. Anders Carlson, their previous starting kicker, is out for the season with a shoulder injury that occurred on a kickoff return against Mississippi State last week. So McPherson has taken over. He's drilled a couple tonight. We'll take you back to pregame. Auburn walk-up linebacker Jonathan LeGrand is one of the Auburn captains tonight. He served in the Marines for 5 years before coming to Auburn. Tried out for the football team twice before finally making the team in 22, and was part of the national champion club rugby team here at Auburn before he made the football team. They won that title in 2021. Here's more with Jonathan LeGrand.
I just remember watching the game and I was like, you know what? I could do that. I know I could.
Marines just don't stop. And us being as supportive as we were in his corner, he just blocked out that rest of that noise and was like, you know, let's make this happen.
To see someone that a single play mattered to him that much, that'll stick with me for a lifetime.
Well, Jonathan LeGrand from Dothan, Alabama, part of the national championship rugby team. There are ways when you're part of a football team that you can earn respect, and there's also respect that is automatic when you have a background like that.
Absolutely, and I think he's done a lot of both. The resolve, as you mentioned, trying out multiple times for the team, to being a team captain tonight in front of a packed crowd to start this game, pretty special.
Kick into the wind, hung up and taken at the 14. And not much on the return by Jalen Preston. As we celebrate Veterans Week on all of our ESPN platforms, we want to thank the hardworking veterans who make our college football show a success here on the SEC Network every week. As Sean Erickson on the left, specialist in the light infantry, and Infantry Sergeant First Class David Myers. He's in the booth with us every week. So thank you both for your service. David has a Bronze Star, by the way. I made him tell me this story a couple of weeks ago. He took a round in the Achilles while saving one of his men from fire, and he said, I got him back to cover. This ball lobbed down the sideline and nearly picked. This guy taking a shot to the breastplate, went out, picked him up, carried him back to cover, and only then did one of my guys say, David, you've been hit. And I looked down and had taken a round to the Achilles. The adrenaline was going so hard he was unaware. That'll get you a Bronze Star.
Unbelievable. Now he's got to put up with us on every weekend.
Wow, what a hit. Jalen Preston got lit by Caden Bridges. Sent him to Madison County.
Wow. And that's going to be one that they look at for targeting.
There is a flag in the defensive backfield.
Personal foul, targeting number 20 on the defense. The previous play is under further review.
All right, this one should be more straightforward. This says, well, actually, I was just about to say this is of the defenseless kind, but actually I think the receiver ends up establishing himself as a runner is going to be what they're looking at. Right? Does he have time to establish as a runner? If he's defenseless and it's any forcible contact, doesn't have to be crowned. if he's deemed a runner there, it has to be crown of the helmet by Bridges.
That seemed like crown of the helmet.
Yeah. Again, though, the crown was reclassified this offseason, trying to get less of the forehead. They're okay with some of the forehead just above the face mask there. They're really focusing on the apex of the helmet in a 6-inch radius. Tough to see there. Let's see it. Yeah, as he ducks the head there.
It used to be, to put it in perspective, it used to be right at the top of the face mask. So like your hairline, and now it's my hairline. They have really shrunk it.
Good thing it's not Cole's hairline, or every single play would be a penalty.
And crown of the helmet can go anywhere.
Yes. Yeah. If you dip and use the crown of your helmet, it doesn't matter if it's a runner or defenseless. Doesn't matter. That's a flag. That's targeting.
A&M's offense really looking for some help. This will be their 12th straight game versus an FBS team where they've failed to score 30 points. The only other Power 5 team with a longer active streak is Stanford. Stanford's at 13, and they're in action right now. It's all a matter of perspective. This is an A&M team that, going into the Appalachian State game, was ranked 6th in the country.
Crazy.
After further review, there was no targeting on the play. Number 20 may stay in the game. It's 3rd down.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, so two things. They obviously deemed the receiver was a runner at that point, not defenseless anymore. And again, we didn't have, let's see. They just deemed that this was not the apex of the helmet. Which, yeah, I think I would have called that targeting. And I'm more old school. I lean towards it's got to really clearly be targeting, but it is what it is. Don't always have to agree with the refs down there. They looked at it, talked about it.
A&M has not converted a 3rd down this half. They convert this one and turn it into a monster gain by Amari Daniels. And now A&M will try to find some offensive rhythm.
Yeah, they need to pick up the pace here.
Wigman's able to find his tight end. That's the first, well, the biggest catch for Blake Smith so far.
And again, finding a little rhythm with tempo.
2nd down 1.
Aggies have lost 5 in a row, trying to avoid a 6-game losing streak. Seam route incomplete. Excuse me, mentioned the Aggies were 6th in the preseason. There's only been one instance in the AP poll era, that's since the mid-30s, of a preseason top 10 team suffering a losing streak of 6+ games. That was Florida in 2013. Jeff Driscoll was their quarterback early. He got injured. Then Tyler Murphy finished it. This is a 3rd and 1. And they convert another 3rd down. And Amari Daniels picks it up and takes it inside the 20, a 27-yard run.
Well, I tell you what, this A&M offensive line is getting a lot of movement. For most of this game, the Auburn defensive line has been living in the backfield. Last 2 plays, really good lateral push. A couple double teams to get that movement and open up the hole for Daniels.
27 yards, the longest play of the night for Texas A&M. Pressure again, got rid of it, end zone, and caught. Touchdown, Jalen Preston. And the Aggies find the end zone for the first time. And once again, got a game.
So you're telling me there's a chance? I mean, this is the talent that Connor Wigman has. Watch this ball. It's on a frozen rope. In tight coverage to Jalen Preston. Defender draped all over him. That ball hit him right in the chest.
Randy Bond for the point after. The former walk-on punches it through. Connor Wigman at one point misfired on 13 consecutive passes. hit the biggest one of the night, and they cap a 7-play, 80-yard drive that only took 1:29 off the clock. Texas A&M recovered an onside kick in the failed comeback against South Carolina on October 22nd. And trying to avoid this, a 6-game losing streak. Auburn's occurred in 1950. Earl Brown was the head coach after the season. He blamed alumni, but they bought him out. Back even in 1951, they paid him for an extra year of his contract. He said Governor Gordon Person's attempt to fire him as soon as he won the election. See, politics have been a part of college football for a long time. Take it back to the onside kick against South Carolina. This is a game that seemed over. And they're able to grab that, and they had a shot late. But once again, that was when they went tempo. They just started airing things out, prevent defense, a lot of big gains.
Two kickers here. And
yeah, this is how they did it that night. They had 2 kickers out, and they really split the coverage team. Auburn covers this one. A&M has only 1 timeout remaining with 1:32 left. John Samuel Schenker has seemingly sealed it for the Tigers.
Yeah, that's, you just got to get that big second bounce. That time a little too far upfield, didn't get that big bounce. And how about Auburn? You can see there, no crazy bounce.
Last time A&M lost 6 in a row was 1972. It was the first year under Emory Bellard, the inventor of the wishbone. They would get better. And that included big help from their All-American running back Bubba Bean. Handoff and immediately stop, and they'll stop the clock. McKinley Jackson the tackle.
Timeout.
1:28 remaining.
Their third and final time of the second half. Should be a 30-second timeout.
A&M's best case scenario would be about 8 seconds, if that.
Yeah, not much. Kind of as important for Auburn to, before getting tackled, like, make them work for it, but they're going to take a knee here.
You can take off 4 seconds on each snap in the academic. The energy that Cadillac Williams brought to this program, even this entire university, with him taking over the interim tag after Brian Harsin was let go, is it's infectious. And something he said about the players really hit home. He said, and Ike Hilliard repeated it, he said, these guys have been broken. It's up to us. We need to show them love and show them support and give them healing. They've been through so much. Some of these guys going through second coaching change plus the COVID year.
Should be a 30-second timeout.
Cadillac uses a 30-second timeout here. I don't know what the future holds in terms of who's going to be the next head coach at Auburn, but there's a lot of support for Cadillac, and because he's an Auburn guy and the energy that he's brought to this and salvaging what was seemingly unsalvageable.
Yeah, he is exactly what Auburn needed right now, right? Didn't have the head coaching experience, didn't have coordinating experience, but he was a player. He knows what it was like, and he's speaking, mentoring, and starting to develop these guys from the perspective of a player and what a player needs. Not him trying to be the next head coach. Him trying to just make these kids better. Get them healthy, mentally, physically. Get some of that passion and love for the game back.
They'll run a few more ticks off the clock, and Ashford able to protect it. And that'll do it. And Cadillac's got the win. His first as the interim head coach. Auburn ends a 5-game losing streak. And a handshake at midfield with Jimbo. The Aggies skid has reached 6 in a row. That is one cold coach. Nobody has ever been happier to be so cold in their life. (13-10) is the final. Auburn's got its first win since the overtime victory against Missouri late in September. Cole Kublik standing by with Cadillac.
The final score, Auburn 13. Texas
You just won your first game as the Auburn head football coach. How does that feel?
All glory go to God. God is good. I'm so appreciative of this Auburn family. I mean, these fans, they showed up and showed out, man. The energy, the atmosphere here. Man, I just think I'm so appreciative for this institution. I'm forever indebted to it. I love serving these young men, man. It's coaching staff. It's bigger than me. It's just not my show, man. We are together. We family. So I'm excited. 1-1. 1-1.
You mentioned the energy. You mentioned the passion. Jordan was talking about in the broadcast. We were in a timeout. He's like, look at the Auburn sideline right now. These guys lost 5 straight games. It looks like they're playing for an SEC West title. The fans in the stands, how did you do it? How did you inject this kind of life into this football team?
Serve, discipline, believe, these kids, these staff. I mean, people around the building, the Auburn family. And these kids just need a little love. Need to be loved on with the discipline. They need to know it's okay to make mistakes. They gonna fall, but us coaches gonna be there to pick them back up. And regardless, we got their back. They had to open their heart, and that's all they did, to be honest with you.
Coach, what's next for this football team?
Western Kentucky. Like look, we got 2 more games. So we gonna enjoy this one tonight. We gonna flush it. And man, we gonna prepare, man. We enjoying the journey together. Like, we writing our history and what we want this 2022 team to be like, man. We gonna finish. We gonna do what we do.
I got one more thing for you. You mentioned love. I'm pretty sure you got some little ones behind you that want to show you some right now, and I want you to take a look at this right here. This student section, these fans, all these former, look at these lettermen that you played with. You took snaps from Jason Campbell. Marcus McNeil blocked for you. I want to know how all of this makes you feel right now.
Oh, man. Again, all glory go to God, man. This thing a big family. My former teammates, my family here. I mean, these players. I mean, look at this. I mean, who don't want to come to Auburn? Look, man, Auburn football gonna be okay. It ain't dead, baby. It ain't dead. We coming. But I'm just so appreciative, man. All praise go to God.
Head coach Carnell Williams, congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
In his introductory press conference, new athletic director John Cohen brought new meaning to 3 words: Auburn being Auburn. And with that perspective, you take this scene in and it means something totally different. This is Auburn being Auburn. Good luck keeping up with Cadillac. He is the host of one of the most unexpected parties in college football. An Auburn team that is 4-6 is celebrating like it won a national title, and for good reason. The light at the end of the tunnel has never been brighter for this Auburn program. The leadership is in place. The interim coach has a win after coming back from 21 down last week, and they just beat a team that was preseason top 10. The emotion overflows, Cole. You can feel it through the screen.
I don't know if I've ever been a part of anything like it. It's remarkable. You see some of these guys played 10, 12 years in the NFL, millionaires, and all they're waiting to do is just go hug this young man after he won his first football game as the Auburn head football coach. The student section going bananas all night long. You guys heard how loud it was. We all three talked about it on the field before the game. Will Friend came up to me before the game and he said, we lost 5 straight. The student section was in here. They've been here for 30 minutes when the team got here. Kendall Simmons told me before the game, best Tiger walk he's ever been through. A team on a 5-game losing streak. Time you hit a home run, man. This is Auburn being Auburn.
They were gifted a win against Missouri in overtime back on September 24th when the Tigers fumbled on the goal line going in. The other Tigers, that is. This one they earned with a suffocating defense and an offense that was led by Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter, each with 121 yards on the ground. And a game that ended almost 10 minutes ago, and still the bars will have to wait for the students to get there because the party is inside Jordan-Hare. Sign says the most physical team wins. Were they the most physical team tonight?
Absolutely. Most energetic team, most passionate team. This was an ugly game, 13-10. How many times we're like, what are either of these teams doing? But Cadillac kept saying, fight or quit. This team has no quit in them. They've continued to fight and fight for their coach, and it showed tonight.
2 games left in the season for Auburn. 2 more chances to make an impact. They in a 5-game losing streak. Cadillac Williams has his first win as Auburn's head coach. The party will continue late into the night. Plenty to talk about around the league tonight. Let's get you back to our Charlotte studios. Peter Burns and the gang to break it all down.